Chapter 2011 Fighting a Great Emperor with a Flash. Many people joined Lu Ming's team. There were even true emperors and void emperors. They released their auras and helped Lu Ming and the rest to fight against the people from the three major forces. A bunch of small fries who think they can change the outcome of the bar tie. Emperor Tianluo said coldly. Wuxiang, you've said so much just to find a few more helpers. But what's the use of a group of small fish? Make your move and kill Lu Ming. Kill anyone who blocks your way. Box novel. Calm the Emperor of the Han clan spoke. Boom. Emperor Hang's aura exploded, and his powerful aura locked onto Emperor Formless. At that moment, RHE auras of the powerhouses from the three major forces locked onto everyone except Lu Ming. Whoever makes a move, lull Lu Ming. The great Emperor of the He clan spoke coldly. I'll kill him. From the He family, a middle-aged man who looked to be in his 50s stepped out. Fliss' terrifying aura swept towards Lu Ming like a tide. This person was called He Qian. He was a small emperor void emperor. He had just broken through to the small emperor realm and was a one-star void emperor. With such a good opportunity, he wanted to show off in front of the great emperor He. Perhaps, the great emperor He would reward him handsomely. Martial Emperor. Huang Ling, Long Chen, Luo Tianyi, and the others were shocked. The teachers of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, the Phoenix Palace, the Divine Elephant Sect, and the Ice Curtain all changed their expressions. They wanted to attack, but they found that they had all been locked on. The auras of the experts from the three major forces were locked on them. As long as they moved, they would be attacked by lightning. Moreover, the ones who were staring at them were very powerful. Buzz. Uncle Kong moved, and his sword chi whistled. A terrifying sword light was about to slash at He Qian. Old man, your opponent is me. Emperor Tianluo shouted. The seal trembled and shot out a beam of divine light, blocking Uncle Kong's sword light. Then, the seal trembled and charged toward Uncle Kong. The sword chi whistled as the battle between Uncle Kong and the Emperor of Tianluo broke out. The two exchanged a few moves before rushing into the dark void. Boom! At the same time, Emperor Formless and Emperor Hang exchanged a blow, and the two of them stood in confrontation from a distance. Emperor Formless couldn't spare any time to rescue him. He was originally a bit stronger than the Han clan's emperor, and he had won the last time they had fought. However, he was still heavily injured and might be at a disadvantage against the emperor of the Han family. Bang! Bang! He Qian stepped in the air. With every step he took, the air trembled. His aura grew stronger and stronger, like a storm, pressing down on Lu Ming. He was like a giant looking down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming, it's your honor to die in my hands. Kill. He Qian's palm was like a knife as he slashed at Lu Ming. A white blade light filled with coldness caused the temperature to drop sharply. Fight. 11 die. Lu Ming shouted and took a step forward. The aura in his body surged wildly, and all the saint power in his body gathered at the tip of his finger. Then he pointed. The energy between heaven and earth gathered at Lu Ming's fingertips in a frenzy. Then, a finger force that had been condensed to the extreme burst out and collided with He Yan's saber light. Ding! Ding! A sharp collision sound rang out, and the force rolled in all directions. He Qian's saber light actually shattered and turned into nothing. It was blocked. Many people couldn't help but widen their eyes. The martial emperor's attack was actually blocked by Lu Ming. The most shocking thing was that Lu Ming did not even take a step back after blocking the other party's attack. Such terrifying combat strength. Many people exclaimed in admiration. He Qian's eyes were filled with anger. Although he did not use his full strength in the previous move, Lu Ming was unscathed after that move. He did not even retreat. He felt that he had lost face. Moreover, he glanced around and found that the patriarch of the He family looked gloomy. His heart sank immediately. Could it be that the great emperor of the He clan had a bad impression of him? Damn it! It's all Lu Ming's fault. I'm going to tear him into pieces. He Qian roared in his heart, his eyes revealing an ice-cold lulling intent. Kill! Die! He Qian shouted as the martial emperor's world energy circulated wildly. His palm turned into a dazzling saber light and slashed out with a howl, shaking the heavens and earth. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly. He moved his body, advancing instead of retreating, and rushed towards He Qian. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming continued to punch and pieces of illusionary prison-suppressing steels appeared, clashing with He Qian's saber light. The shadow of the prison-suppressing steel shattered, but the blade light was also blocked. The long song of the 4 seasons. After failing to take down Lu Ming in a few consecutive moves, He Qian was a little anxious and used the He family's divine skill, the Song of the 4 Seasons. The momentum of his saber instantly changed. At first it was like the snow of winter, then it turned into the thick feeling of spring, and in the next moment, it was like the scorching sun in the sky, unbearably hot. The saber's momentum changed and its power increased greatly. It shattered the prison-suppressing steel that Lu Ming had condensed in the void, and the saber light continued to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming retreated continuously. Kill! As soon as Lu Ming retreated, He Qian's saber momentum became even fiercer and swept toward Lu Ming frantically. Chi. At that moment, Lu Ming cast the Chaos Finger of Tribulation. He pointed several times with his right hand, and the force of his fingers collided with He Qian's saber radiance. Countless runes appeared on Lu Ming's left hand. A true dragon roared and pounced toward He Qian. Small tricks. Attack! He Qian shouted. A blade light burst out and destroyed the true dragon. However, the true dragon turned into countless runes and spread towards He Qian, trying to seal him. The combined power of 3 of the 9 scrolls of Array Dao was indeed very profound. He Qian's expression changed slightly, and the power of the world burst forth, shattering the endless runes. Next, the 2 of them exchanged more than a dozen moves. He Qian was indeed very powerful. Although he had broken through to the Void Emperor realm not long ago, he was still a martial emperor after all. His combat strength far exceeded that of an emperor to be. Chapter 2012. Slaying an Emperor with a single strike. Lu Ming cast his strongest move. A huge Chaos Finger of Tribulation was formed, covered with Array Dao runes. The initial fusion of the Annihilation Scroll and the Chaos Finger of Tribulation. Bang! Bang! And NBSP, the Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger, struck out, shattering He Qian's blade light with unstoppable force. He Qian's expression changed drastically as he roared. A world seemed to emerge from his body as he slashed out with his blade. The blade light seemed to contain a world. Box novel. Comboom. The Chaos Finger Tribulation was finally destroyed by He Qian, but He Qian's figure was pushed back 10 miles. The martial emperor had been forced to retreat by Lu Ming. Many people gasped and were too shocked to speak. He was only at the peak of the Absolute Saint realm, but he was able to defeat a martial emperor. No one would believe this. This kind of battle result could scare people to death. Oh, damn it! He Qian roared. He had lost all his face today. Even if he could kill Lu Ming, it would become a stain in his life and even a demon in his heart. This is the He clan's martial sovereign? Just this little bit of combat power? As expected, he's worse than a pig or a dog. Not only does he have a bad character, but his combat strength is also poor. Lu Ming sneered. You! He Qian was so angry that his chest heaved up and down, and he almost vomited blood. Calm down. He's provoking you on purpose. Use all your strength to kill him and wash away your shame. A voice entered He Qian's ears. It was the voice of the great emperor of the He clan. The voice of the He clan's great emperor seemed to have a magical power that calmed He Qian's heart. He understood that he had been too impatient just now and had not used all of his combat strength. Buzz! A saber appeared in his hand. The saber radiance pierced through the air and was extremely sharp. With the infusion of He Qian's world power, the saber's might grew stronger and stronger. The terrifying saber aura continued to press toward Lu Ming. This was a monarch weapon. The power of a sovereign weapon controlled by a martial emperor was completely different from that of someone under the martial emperor realm. Only a martial sovereign could unleash the full power of a sovereign weapon. Boom! A world was floating above He Qian's body. This world clearly hadn't finished its evolution. It was filled with chaos, but it still gave people a terrifying pressure. Kill! He Qian shouted and slashed down with his saber. The power of this blade was much stronger than before. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He circulated his cultivation to the extreme and pointed his finger. It was still destruction. Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger. However, this time, the Finger of Tribulation of Chaos was shattered when the saber light slashed down. A terrifying force rushed toward Lu Ming, forcing him to retreat rapidly. This is the true strength of a martial emperor. Lu Ming suppressed the boiling blood in his body and muttered in his heart. His strength was still slightly inferior to a martial emperor's. If he could reach the perfected absolute saint realm, he would be confident of fighting He Qian. It seems that Lu Ming is still no match for them. A martial emperor is a martial emperor, after all. Lu Ming is only at the peak of the absolute saint realm. The difference is too great. However, it's already terrifying enough that Lu Ming can fight a martial supreme to this extent. Some people were discussing. Lu Ming, one won't let you die so easily. I'll let you die from pain. He Qian approached Lu Ming step by step, his cold voice ringing in Lu Ming's ears. I was just playing with you earlier. Now, one can send you on your way. At this moment, Lu Ming smiled faintly and a murderous intent burst out from his eyes. Just now, he had fought with all his strength just to test his limit. Many people were stunned. What did Lu Ming mean by this? Could it be that he wanted to kill He Qian? Send me on my way? Ha ha ha, you're really shameless. You want to anger me with this, right? Unfortunately, I can't let you have it. Kill. Die. He Qian shouted. His body burst with brilliant light. His entire person seemed to have fused with the saber in his hand, turning into a terrifying saber light that charged at Lu Ming. The saber light tore through the air and the space howled. It was terrifying and shocking. Many people's hearts were in their throats. Perhaps, Lu Ming was going to die under this knife. In an instant, the saber light approached Lu Ming. Not good. At this moment, Feng Ling, Long Chen, and the others were shocked. At that moment, the powerhouses of Phoenix Palace, Divine Elephant Sect, Ice Curtain, and the others wanted to help. However, the powerhouses of the He family, the Heng family, and the Daluo Heaven Sect flashed and blocked their way. Master! Lu Xiangxiang shouted and wanted to rush over, but one of the experts on the other side burst forth with energy, and Lu Xiangxiang's figure was sent flying. Just when everyone thought that Lu Ming was going to be killed by this slash, they saw a sword gleam. Sword light shone from Lu Ming's hands and slashed at the saber light that He Qian had transformed into. Then, an unbelievable scene appeared. The sword light slashed and the saber light was cut in half. Bang! The saber light broke and shattered. Then, everyone saw He Qian's figure retreating frantically. He retreated 100 miles away, his eyes wide open as he glared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming. He Qian spat out these two words with difficulty. Then, a line of blood appeared between his eyebrows and quickly spread to his entire body. Sila! He Qian's body was split into two and fell to the ground. He was dead. He Qian was dead. The scene fell into a deathly silence. Just now, He Qian clearly had the absolute advantage and was about to kill Lu Ming with one slash. Everyone thought that Lu Ming was in grave danger. But why was He Qian the one who died? Celestial Emperor's Sword. You can actually control the Celestial Emperor's Sword. One of the Heng family's true emperors shouted. Everyone's gaze was on Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming was holding a stone sword in his hand. The Celestial Emperor's Sword. Many people's hearts trembled. Lu Ming could actually control the Celestial Emperor's Sword and unleash its power, killing He Qian with one strike. How could a mere absolute saint control the Celestial Emperor's Sword and exert its power? Naturally, they did not know that Lu Ming had the cultivation technique to control the Celestial Emperor's body. The Celestial Emperor's Sword had fused with the Celestial Emperor's body. Chapter 2013 Sword pointed at He Qian. The powerful man from the Heng family was very cautious. He attacked from a distance. He reached out a hand and grabbed at Lu Ming. A huge claw formed and grabbed at Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming shouted, holding the sword with both hands, and slashed down. A ray of sword light, like a crescent moon, slashed forward at an astonishing speed. Wherever the sword light passed, a dark crack appeared in the space. Box novel. The huge hand formed by the Heng family expert was cut in half by the sword light. However, the sword light did not stop and continued to attack the Heng family expert. Fast, it was too fast, so fast that the other party had no reaction. Quickly retreat! The emperor from the Heng family roared. But it was too late. Puchi! Blood splattered everywhere as the Heng family's expert was cut in half. His soul naturally vanished in the sword light. He had killed another martial sovereign. Moreover, this person was not someone He Qian could compare to. He was an expert among the Void Emperors, But he still could not block Lu Ming's sword. Many people looked at the stone sword in Lu Ming's hand with deep respect. Of course, there were also people who looked greedy. Lu Ming was only an absolute saint, but he could control the sword and unleash such terrifying power. What if a martial emperor controlled it? Damn it! How audacious! The other Hing family members reacted and roared. Ha ha ha, well done! Emperor Formless laughed loudly, causing the Hang family's emperor to have an ugly expression. Who else is here to kill me? The stone sword in Lu Ming's hand was pointed at the Hang family. The Hang family powerhouses all had unsightly expressions. They were filled with killing intent, anger, and fear. They did not know to what extent Lu Ming could wield the Celestial Emperor's sword. Therefore, no one dared to step forward. Didn't you all come to kill me just now? Now you've become a good-for-nothing? Lu Ming then pointed the stone sword at the Daluo Heaven sect, which made the people of the Daluo Heaven sect look terrible. But still, no one walked out. Finally, Lu Ming pointed the stone sword at the He family. He Qian, old dog, come out and face your death. Lu Ming shouted, his killing intent bursting forth. Today, he wanted to offer He Qian's head as a sacrifice to the Ice Dragon Valley Master. He Qian's face darkened. Many people were shocked. Lu Ming wanted to challenge He Qian. He Qian was a true emperor. Even among the true emperors, He Qian was not weak. He was considered an expert. With Lu Ming's cultivation base at the Absolute Saint realm and his control of the Celestial Emperor sword, could he really fight with He Qian, an old true emperor? He Qian, I challenge you. If you don't dare to accept the challenge, just say it. Lu Ming said loudly, his voice full of mockery. Little bastard, you should die. He Qian roared in his heart. He wished he could kill Lu Ming with a slap. However, he was not confident and even felt a little scared when facing Lu Ming, who was holding the Celestial the Arch sword. He didn't want to die. He still wanted to survive the Great Tribulation and live carefreely for hundreds of thousands of years. But now, Lu Ming, a junior, challenged him. If he did not accept the challenge, he would definitely lose face, not just him, but also the He family. Now, he was riding a tiger and couldn't stop. It seems that the He family is really cowards. They only know how to bully people with their power and use their absolute advantage to suppress others. Once the other party shows a trace of threat, they immediately run away. It's simply embarrassing. Lu Ming continued, his mocking tone growing stronger. The faces of the He family members turned red and they felt extremely humiliated. He Qian, make your move and kill him. The great emperor of the He clan stood with his hands behind his back and glanced at He Qian. He Qian's face immediately turned pale. Obviously, the great emperor of the He clan was furious. He had no choice but to obey the words of the great emperor of the He clan. Little bastard, I'll let you die an ugly death. He Qian's face was gloomy. He took a step forward, and the world-divine light around him enveloped him. At the same time, several sovereign weapons floated around him. Among them, there were a few defensive monarch weapons that were protecting him. Ha ha, you're really afraid of death. You're facing an absolute Saint Junior, but you've already wrapped yourself like a turtle shell before you even start fighting. Desolate Li laughed. Did you see that? That's what a coward is. Huang Ling also spoke. A bunch of damned little bastards. He Qian roared in his heart. Being ridiculed in public by a few juniors, even if his skin was thick enough, he could not help but blush. Kill! He turned his anger into killing intent and took out a monarch weapon. The monarch weapon flew through the air and attacked Lu Ming. He still did not dare to get too close to Lu Ming. He controlled the sovereign weapon and attacked Lu Ming, intending to test the waters. Whoosh! It was a small silver knife. It cut through the void at an astonishing speed and its power was even more terrifying. However, this saber move could easily kill any Void Emperor expert. Buzz! The Celestial the Arch sword in Lu Ming's hand trembled. Lu Ming took advantage of the situation and slashed out. Clang! The stone sword clashed with the small silver knife, emitting a terrifying buzz. The small silver knife trembled and was sent flying. It's nothing more than this. He Qian's eyes lit up. He felt that although the Celestial Emperor's sword was powerful, it was not too exaggerated. He could completely block it. However, he was still worried. He controlled the small silver knife and turned it into a silver bolt of lightning, charging toward Lu Ming. Clang, clang. The arch sword in Lu Ming's hands slashed out continuously, colliding with the small silver knife. After more than 10 consecutive collisions, the small silver knife would be sent flying every time. However, Lu Ming's figure also took a few steps back. You're just a die. He Qian was finally relieved. He moved and pounced toward Lu Ming. A terrifying saber light burst out from He Qian's hand and slashed at Lu Ming. Retreat! Many true emperors and void emperors protected those with weaker cultivation and retreated rapidly. He Qian's combat power was really strong. If he used his full power, a large area would be enveloped by him, and it would be difficult to stand. Good. A cold glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He circulated the cultivation technique that controlled the Celestial Thearch's physical body. More energy burst out from the Celestial Thearch sword. Buzz! Buzz! The Celestial Emperor's sword trembled continuously, and a layer of terrifying fluorescent light appeared on the body of the sword. Following that, Lu Ming swung his sword and a shocking sword gleam burst out. A sword that glinted 19 prefectures. The sword light slashed down and collided with He Qian's saber light. Boom! A dazzling light burst out, and the endless saber radiance and sword chi swept in all directions. The entire sky was shaking crazily. Bang! Then, the saber light shattered while the terrifying sword light struck the defensive monarch weapon around He Qian. The violent force sent He Qian flying like a cannonball, his face pale. You didn't use your full strength just now. He Qian shouted in fear. Old dog, die. Lu Ming held the stone sword and seemed to have become one with it. The power in the stone sword gushed into his body. He took a step forward and caught up with He Yen, slashing down with the sword again. He Qian roared and exploded with all his strength. The power of the world surged wildly and fought against Lu Ming. However, when Lu Ming's sword slashed down, He Xiao was sent flying again. If the Heavenly Emperor didn't appear, the Great Emperor would be at the peak. In the entire Yuan Mountain, how many people could take a single move from a Great Emperor? Even a peak true Emperor would die. Master! Lu Xiangxiang's eyes were already filled with tears and she was on the verge of tears. Boom! Within the endless dark void, a violent disturbance could be heard. The sword howls could be heard without end. That was Uncle Kong. Uncle Kong was still fighting against Emperor Tian Luo. Countless gazes looked at the pitch-black cave. Was Lu Ming dead? Even if the Great Emperor didn't use much of his strength, he would probably be dead after a head-on clash with the Great Emperor. Buzz! He Qian arrived above the cave and revealed a ferocious smile. Little bastard, so what if you have the Celestial Emperor's sword? After all, you're just an ant at the Absolute Saint realm. You don't know your place if you want to fight with my He family. He Hao sneered. An Absolute Saint realm ant? Who was the one that was beaten up by an Absolute Saint realm ant? Huang Ling said sarcastically. Little girl, you have a sharp tongue. It'll make you regret what you're saying later. He Xiao glanced at Feng Ling coldly. Then, the power of the world gathered and formed a spear, which was thrown into the dark cave. Whoosh! The spear flew into the dark cave like a stone sinking into the sea. He Qian's expression changed and his body landed again. His eyes were filled with radiance as if he wanted to see clearly what was below. Boom! 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 At this moment, the ground suddenly began to shake and let out a deep rumble, as if a peerless beast had awakened from the depths of the earth. Quickly retreat! The expression of the He clan's great emperor suddenly changed as he roared. He Gao's heart trembled. He was about to soar into the sky. Boom! The ground exploded, and smoke and dust filled the air. An incomparably huge hand emerged from the depths of the ground and grabbed at He Qian. This giant hand was made of stone. It was huge and boundless, covering the sky and emitting a terrifying aura. With a single grab, it sealed off all of He Qian's escape routes. He Qian was frightened and wanted to escape, but he found that he had no way to escape. He was like a crawling worm that was about to be caught. Boom! At this moment, the He clan's great emperor made his move. With a palm strike, a huge palm print slammed down towards the giant stone hand. He wanted to save He Qian. However, the ground rumbled again as another giant stone hand stretched out and punched at the great emperor of the He clan. Boom! The giant stone hand shattered the palm print of the great emperor of the He clan. Buzz! When the giant hand closed in, He Qian erupted madly, but it was of no use. He was caught by the giant stone hand. Boom, boom, boom. The ground rumbled and then collapsed. An extremely huge stone man rushed out from the ground. This is Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. Someone shouted in shock. Here, many people had entered the Lotus World, entered the Ninth World, and seen the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. In the beginning, Celestial Emperor's corporeal body was controlled by the Eternal Star River. However, later on, when the Void Passageway appeared, Celestial Emperor's corporeal body and sword flew away to suppress the Void Passageway, and then they disappeared. He did not expect to appear here. Could it be that Lu Ming had obtained the Celestial Thearch's body? However, why was it Lu Ming and not the galaxy? In the beginning, wasn't the Celestial Thearch's body controlled by the galaxy? The experts of the Heng family, especially the Emperor, had bright lights in their eyes. The people on Lu Ming's side were stunned. They could not figure out how Lu Ming had turned into a stone golem and rushed out after being blasted into the depths of the earth. He Qian, I said that you must die today. The giant golem's voice was buzzing, but from the tone, it was clearly Lu Ming. Many people were dumbfounded. Lu Ming and the Celestial Thearch's physical body had fused into one. The He clan's great emperor clenched his hand in the air as if he was holding a great dao in his hand, and it had turned into a battle blade. The great dao turned into a saber, emitting a brilliant light. With a slash, endless power gathered and slashed at Lu Ming. With a thought from Lu Ming, the energy in the Celestial Thearch's physical body exploded wildly, covering the Celestial Thearch's physical body with a layer of multicolored light. The stone sword's multicolored light was even more intense. Clang! Lu Ming swung his sword again, and it collided with the He clan Great Emperor. This time, the two of them were still forced back, and the void trembled under their feet. But the next moment, the two of them continued to collide. Clang! 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 Their attacks were very simple, but each of them contained terrifying power. Each of their attacks shook the earth. If they had landed on the ground, no one knew what would have happened. After becoming a great emperor, one could control a great Tao and return to their original state. A battle might seem simple, but it was even more dangerous. In the blink of an eye, the two of them exchanged dozens of moves, and it was difficult to determine the winner. I have to end this quickly. My energy can't last that long. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming stepped on the void and dashed towards the great emperor of the He family at top speed. The great emperor of the He family then slashed again. However, this time, Lu Ming did not resist. He was betting that the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body could withstand the opponent's attack. Boom! The saber of the He clans the arch slashed at Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body trembled violently, but he managed to block the attack. There was not even a trace of a mark on his body. Lu Ming was overjoyed. After all, this was the Celestial Thearch's physical body. The Celestial Thearch was so powerful that he was much stronger than a great emperor. Their bodies were naturally sturdy and immortal. Ordinary great emperors couldn't even break through the bodies of heavenly emperors. Kill! Lu Ming roared and the stone sword slashed towards the He clan great emperor. Not good. The great emperor of the He clan was shocked as he retreated. However, he was still a step too late. His body was swept by the stone sword's sharp light, and a bloody wound appeared. Kill, kill, kill! Lu Ming bellowed and his attacks were like a storm, blasting towards the He clan great emperor. The He clan's great emperor also launched his counterattack. However, Lu Ming completely ignored his own defense and allowed the He clan's great emperor's attacks to land on his body. All he had to do was to attack crazily. For a moment, the great emperor of the He family was completely on the passive side and was being suppressed by Lu Ming. Below, many emperor-level experts could see the battle in the sky through the vast void. At this moment, they were all dumbfounded. The He family the arch was actually at a disadvantage and was being suppressed by Lu Ming. What a powerful force. The Celestial Thearch's physical body is so powerful. It's a complete waste for Lu Ming to control it. If it were controlled by the great emperor of my clan, wouldn't he be able to sweep the world? The eyes of the Heng family's powerhouses were filled with greed, and they wanted to take the Celestial Emperor's body for themselves. As for the Emperor Realm experts from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, they were ecstatic. How's it going? How's the battle above? Huang Ling asked anxiously. Those below the emperor rank did not have the strength to see the battle above. "Lu Ming has the upper hand," said Emperor Formless. He had been confronting the emperor from the Heng family all this time and hadn't made a move. At this moment, he waved his hand and an image appeared in the sky. It was the image of Lu Ming and the emperor from the He family fighting in the sky. At this moment, the great emperor of the He clan had been completely suppressed and could only defend passively. Bang! In a moment of carelessness, Lu Ming's other hand landed a punch on the face of the He clan's great emperor, sending him flying. Nice beating. Beat him up. When Desolate Li and the other youths of the Desolate race saw this, they cried out in excitement and joy. The experts of the He family were ashen-faced as they glared at Huang Li and the others. On the side, Emperor Heng's expression was a little unsightly. If Lu Ming could beat up the great emperor of the He family, then wouldn't he be able to do the same to him? Ah! In the sky, the He clan's great emperor had finally sobered up after being beaten up many times. He roared madly and the small world in his body seemed to be burning. Boom! Boom! He began to go all out. He launched a few terrifying attacks at Lu Ming, bombarding his body. He finally forced Lu Ming to retreat. At the same time, he frantically rushed into the distance and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Retreat! Then, the voice of the great emperor of the He clan could be heard. Many experts of the He clan had an ugly expression on their faces. However, since the great emperor of the He clan had left, they could only retreat. Instantly, each and every one of the He clan turned into a ray of light and fled in a sorry state. In the blink of an eye, he was careless. In the sky, Lu Ming looked at the emperor of the Heng family with a hint of excitement. Emperor Heng's expression changed. He knew that it was impossible for him to kill Lu Ming and take back the Celestial Emperor's sword or even the Celestial Emperor's physical body. Retreat! Emperor Heng shouted as his body flickered and he also left. As for the experts of the Heng family, they hurriedly fled out of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Institute. Let's go! The void shook and the Emperor of Tianluo appeared. He glanced at Lu Ming unwillingly and left with the people of the Daluo Heaven sect. The three Emperor-level forces had come with great momentum, but they left in a sorry state. And all of this was because of Lu Ming. When they came, it was because of Lu Ming. When he retreated, it was also because of Lu Ming. It could be said that the three great forces were in a sorry state this time, especially the He family. Lu Ming had killed one of the Void Emperor and one of the True Emperor. Even the Great Emperor was beaten up by Lu Ming. They were destined to become a laughingstock. As for the Heng family, Lu Ming had also killed a small emperor. It's too terrifying. Lu Ming controls the Celestial Thearch's physical body and can suppress the Great Emperor. From now on, no one in the Yuan Mountain is his match. That's right. With the Celestial Thearch's physical body protecting him, Lu Ming will definitely grow up smoothly. One wonder how terrifying a son of chaos will be when he grows up. Many people were whispering. Some forces even started to consider whether they should befriend Lu Ming. After all, there was no need to doubt Lu Ming's character. Disregarding his own safety and working together with the Great Emperor to seal the spatial passageway of the evil god race. Just this point alone was enough to leave a good impression on others. Now, Lu Ming had the Celestial Thearch's physical body to protect him. He would definitely grow into a terrifying powerhouse in the future. It was not impossible for him to even break through to the Great Emperor realm. It was naturally best to befriend Lu Ming now. It's a pity that the stored energy is too little, and it's about to be used up now. With a single thought, Lu Ming walked out from the Celestial Thearch's corporeal Bodis glabella. Then, the corporeal body shrank rapidly and was put away by Lu Ming. The energy stored in the Heavenly Emperor's body had almost been used up during the battle with the He family's emperor. Otherwise, he wouldn't have minded torturing the Heng family's emperor and the Tianluo emperor. It was because his energy was depleted that Lu Ming did not pursue and attack. Otherwise, he would be done for if he was exposed. In fact, the He family's the Arch was scared of Lu Ming. If he had held on a little longer, Lu Ming would have been exposed. Then, the Heng family's the Arch and the Emperor of Tianluo would have joined forces and Lu Ming would be in danger. However, they did not know that the Celestial Thearch's physical body needed to store energy before it could be controlled. They did not dare to fight Lu Ming. Lu Ming descended from the sky and walked towards Huang Ling and the rest. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming. It's so satisfying to beat you up. It's so satisfying. I've copied down all the skills just now. Let's enjoy them together when we have time. Desolate Li laughed, his eyes shining. Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others also smiled. It's a pity that I didn't manage to kill a single great emperor. Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. This point was indeed the question in everyone's heart. There are a few main reasons. One of them is related to the evil god tribe. The previous battle was only a regional battle. The evil god tribe has never given up on attacking the heaven realm and the primordial realm. Now, the situation in the heaven realm is very unfavorable. It's only a matter of time before the evil god tribe attacks the primordial realm. Therefore, the final battle will break out sooner or later. Emperor Formless spoke with a heavy voice. Everyone's hearts sank, and their faces turned grave. After the battle with the evil god race, everyone understood how terrifying the evil god race was. However, that was only a battle of a small scale. If a decisive battle were to break out, how could they fight when the enemy had a large number of great emperors, or even heavenly emperors? At that time, it wouldn't just be the Yuan Mountain. No one in the entire primordial realm would be able to stay out of it. They would probably all fall into a tragic battle. Gotcha! Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly. He had to become stronger, strong enough to protect his family and friends. He felt a sense of urgency. Chapter 2018. The Battle of the Ten Lands. However, when a world is in danger, the world itself will also be in a defensive state. Emperor Formless continued to explain. The world itself can defend? Everyone was confused. Could it be that the world itself also had a consciousness? That's right. Some powerful existences once speculated that the world itself actually has a consciousness. For example, when the heaven realm or the primordial realm is invaded by the evil god tribe, they will be in a defensive state. The space will become relatively firm and not easy to break through. The most important thing is that when a world is in danger, this world will give birth to a group of heaven's favorites. Many terrifying physiques will appear in groups. Just like now, in the heaven realm and the primordial realm, geniuses are like clouds, constantly emerging. All kinds of king physiques, and even the sons of God, are constantly appearing. In the past, it was simply impossible. In fact, this is the defense of the world. It gave birth to many heaven's favorites. When these heaven's favorites mature, they can defend against enemies. This is the golden age we have now. Emperor Formless continued to explain, and everyone's hearts were in turmoil. This was the first time they had heard of such a thing. The gathering of Heaven's Pride experts, the King Physique competition, and the various scholars' competition for supremacy were actually a defensive state of the world itself. Therefore, all of you are the hope of the future, the hope to resist the evil god tribe. That's why the three of us established the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy to gather all of you together and do our best to nurture you. We hope that you will grow faster. Everyone came to a sudden realization. So this was the reason why the three great emperors convened a meeting at the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. The great emperor is truly selfless. Some people sighed, especially when they thought of the unknown fate of Skyfire Emperor and Huntian Emperor. Some people felt sad. Compared to Emperor Formless, Skyfire Emperor, and Huntian Emperor, Emperor Hang, Emperor He, and Emperor Tianlua were all extremely despicable and selfish. Of course, this is only the first point. The second point is that the Battle of the Ten Lands will be held soon. This time, it is said that there will be a great opportunity. Therefore, we want you to grow faster and seize the opportunity. Emperor Formless continued. The Battle of the Ten Lands? Everyone looked puzzled. They had never heard of such a thing. The Battle of the Ten Lands is a meeting held by many great emperors in the Ten Lands of the primordial realm. It will gather all the elites of the Ten Lands. When the elites compete, it will also be accompanied by great opportunities. The goal is the same. It will nurture this batch of elites and allow them to grow faster. Emperor Wuxia said. Everyone's hearts trembled, and it was difficult for them to calm down. The Battle of the Ten Lands would gather all the geniuses of the Ten Lands. How many geniuses would there be in the Ten Lands? How intense would the competition between the paragons be? Such a thing had never happened before in history. This was the first time. This time, the battle will be held in the divine fated land, and there will be countless powerful cultivators participating. It will be accompanied by a great opportunity that will be of great help to your cultivation. If you want to rise before the war with the evil god tribe and have the ability to protect yourself in the future, You cannot miss this battle. Emperor Formless voice caused everyone's hearts to stir. Great Emperor, when will the battle begin? Lu Ming asked. If Lu Ming wanted to break through and reach the peak, he could not miss such an opportunity. However, he still had to go to the land of infinite demons to save Qiu Yu. 3 years later, Emperor Wuxia said. All of them had to make the best use of their time to improve their abilities. If not for the fact that he had to save Qiu Yu, Lu Ming would have followed the great emperor to cultivate. But Bubbles can't bear to leave brother Lu Ming. Chirpy! The bubble hung on Lu Ming's neck and rubbed its small head against him. Be good, Papao. Go and improve your abilities. Otherwise, you won't be able to help brother Lu Ming in the future. Lu Ming touched Bubbles' small head. Don't. Bubbles must help brother Lu Ming. Pow Pow blinked her large eyes and finally agreed to go cultivate with the arch. All right, I'll give you 3 days to prepare. 3 days later, we'll take you away, Emperor Formless said. After that, the other great emperors all left. Lu Ming, let's go for a drink. Desolate Li and the others walked over. After that, everyone drank to their heart's content and then gathered at the divine fated land to compete with the heavens' favorites from other regions. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. 3 days later, Lu Ming left the heavenly emperor city alone with Qiu Yu. There were more than a dozen figures fighting each other. Demonic chi surged and saber lights flashed. The people fighting were divided into 2 sides. However, it was obvious that one side was stronger. With a flash of the blade, someone was killed. In a short while, all the people on one side were killed. The rest of them were all dressed in black robes and carried demonic blades on their backs. Their eyes were fierce and filled with ruthlessness. Demonic cultivators, due to the influence of demonic chi, had very strange personalities. Some people were ruthless, some were brutal, but they all had one thing in common. Those who cultivated in the demonic path would not be soft-hearted, and their attacks were decisive and ruthless. Collect these guys' storage rings, quick! One of the leaders shouted as he collected the interspatial rings of those who were killed. Commander, there's a kid over there. Someone saw Lu Ming and cast a cold gaze at him. Hee, he'll just have another source of income. Kill him. The leader of the group sneered. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. In an instant, 7 to 8 burly men in black surrounded Lu Ming. Brat, hand over your storage ring and 111 leave your corpse intact. A black-robed man said coldly. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He did not expect to encounter a robbery the moment he arrived at the land of Myriad demons. Before he came here, he had heard that the land of Myriad demons was very chaotic and that most demonic cultivators were warlike. It was common for them to kill each other if they didn't agree with each other. Today, he saw that it was indeed so. However, the strongest of these people was only a bright saint. The others were all half-saints. It would be too overconfident to rob him. Get lost. Let's go. Lu Ming shouted, and the aura of an absolute saint exploded. The terrifying aura caused the expressions of the 7 or 8 black-robed men to change drastically. Absolute saint, it's an absolute saint. Senior, please spare our lives. We have eyes but fail to recognize Mount Tai. We will immediately get lost. The 7 or 8 burly men revealed an expression of extreme fear. They were almost scared to death. This was only the border of the land of infinite demons. Normally, there wouldn't be any experts here. Why were they so unlucky to meet a young-looking man who was actually an absolute saint? They broke into a run and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He could not be bothered to attack these people with their cultivation. This was just a small interlude in Lu Ming's journey to the land of Myriad demons. He continued to fly, but to Lu Ming's dismay, he would encounter robbers every once in a while. Some of them were reckless and wanted to attack Lu Ming, but he killed them easily. After that, Lu Ming's absolute saint stage cultivation was undoubtedly revealed as he flew. Many robbers fled as soon as they sensed Lu Ming's cultivation. After flying for more than 10 days, Lu Ming passed by a few low-ranked devil nations and found that almost all of them were at war. What made Lu Ming even more depressed was that these low-ranked devil nations did not have teleportation arrays. They could only rely on flying. After flying for a few more days, Lu Ming's eyes flickered and he stopped when he was passing by a vast demon mountain. He found a valley with an astonishingly dense demonic chi. Such dense demonic qi is perfect for the celestial thearch's body to absorb some energy. Lu Ming pondered. Now the energy stored in Celestial Emperor's corporeal body was almost empty, and he needed a large amount of energy to replenish it. The dangers of this trip to the Eternal Demon Nation were unknown. The stronger he was, the better. If the Celestial Emperor's body could recover to 10%, then his chances would be much higher. Lu Ming moved and headed toward the valley. Roar! Just as Lu Ming approached the valley, the roars of beasts could be heard. A few pitch-black giant wolves pounced on Lu Ming. He has the cultivation of the great saint realm. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. These giant wolves had the strength of a great saint. Boom! Lu Ming threw a punch and a few giant wolves shrieked in pain. They were sent flying and fell to the ground, unable to move. Roar! Roar! At this moment, the valley was in an uproar as howls and roars rang out. Chapter 20 Devil's Pool in the valley. The roars were endless, as if there were hundreds and thousands of beasts. At the same time, the earth trembled, as if thousands of soldiers and horses were charging out of the valley. The strongest is an emperor to be. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled into a smile. He took a step forward and entered the valley. In front of him, a pack of giant wolves charged at Lu Ming. There were at least a few hundred of them. There were bright saints, great saints, and even absolute saints. The giant wolves' bodies were pitch black, and they emitted a thick demonic aura. Their eyes were filled with ferocity as they pounced at Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming waved his hand and his saint energy condensed into long spears. Whoosh! 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 The long spear pierced through the air, emitting a sharp whistling sound. Instantly, the giant wolves were nailed to the ground by the spear. No matter if it was an absolute saint or a great saint or a bright saint, they were all the same. They were killed in one move. In an instant, dozens of giant wolves were nailed to death. The other giant wolves could not help but pause and stop. After reaching the saint realm, the giant wolf naturally had a high level of intelligence. It looked at Lu Ming with fear. If you don't want to die, get lost. Die! Lu Ming shouted coldly. His eyes were like two black vortexes as he cast the soul illusion. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a god of death in the eyes of the giant wolves, slaughtering all living beings. Woo-woo! The rest of the giant wolves all cried out in fear and slowly retreated. Roar! At this moment, a roar came from the depths of the valley, shaking the entire valley. Lu Ming saw that there was a huge cave in the depths of the valley. At that moment, an exceptionally huge wolf was walking out of the valley. This giant wolf was at least 100 meters tall, like a small mountain. Its entire body was pitch black, as if it was cast from steel, and its demonic qi was incomparably dense. Emperor-to-be. Lu Ming had sensed that the giant wolf was at the Emperor-to-be realm. It was obvious that this giant wolf was the king of this pack of giant wolves. It took a step forward and swept its cold gaze across the pack of wolves, causing the other giant wolves to tremble and prostrate themselves. Human, you're looking for death. Giant Wolf King looked at Lu Ming and said in a cold voice. The next moment, Giant Wolf King kicked its four legs and its huge body pounced toward Lu Ming, casting a large shadow. In the blink of an eye, the giant wolf pounced in front of Lu Ming, its claws as sharp as knives, slashing at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled faintly. His holy power surged and his figure suddenly rushed out like a beam of light at an unbelievable speed. Buzz! The next moment, Lu Ming was on top of the giant wolf's head and he punched it. Boom! The punch landed directly on the wolf's head. The wolf wailed and its huge body fell to the ground. The ground shook and the valley rumbled. A huge pit appeared on the ground. Roar! Lu Ming had not used his full strength in this punch, so the giant wolf did not die. It roared and struggled madly. Lu Ming stomped down and the giant wolf wailed. Its head hit the ground again, creating a huge pit. If you continue to resist, it'll kill you, Lu Ming said coldly, his entire body exuding an icy cold killing intent. Giant Wolf King shuddered. It knew that it was far from being Lu Ming's match. If Lu Ming wanted to kill it, it would be as easy as turning his hand. Human, what are you trying to do? Giant Wolf King asked. I'm going to cultivate here for a while. After a while, 111 leave. You guys just stay outside. If you don't agree, I'll kill all of you, and one can still cultivate here. Lu Ming said coldly. Are you really going to leave after a while? Giant Wolf King asked. Nonsense, who would be willing to stay in this broken place? Lu Ming pursed his lips. He took a step forward and walked toward the cave in the depths of the valley. In that cave, the demonic chi was rolling and extremely dense. And NBSP Giant Wolf King howled a few times, but in the end, he had no choice but to stay outside the valley with his wolf pack. Such dense demonic chi. Lu Ming walked into the cave and raised his eyebrows. The demonic chi here was thicker than he had imagined. It was almost tangible. That's the demon origin fruit. Suddenly, Lu Ming saw a small tree growing on one of the walls of the cave. On the small tree, there were 3 fruits that were as black as ink. The main focus of the Dian Elixir Hall was elixir refinement. Lu Ming had naturally read a large number of books in the Dian Elixir Hall. He was very familiar with all kinds of precious medicinal herbs and heavenly and earthly treasures. Naturally, he recognized the fruit at a glance. The demonic origin fruit was an extremely rare and precious fruit. It was very useful for those who cultivated demonic arts. Consuming it could purify demonic chi and increase one's strength. However, these 3 demonic origin fruits were clearly not fully ripe yet. However, it seemed that they were not far from ripening. According to the records, the demonic origin fruit can only grow in places with extremely dense demonic chi. It's extraordinary that the demonic origin fruit can grow here. Lu Ming thought to himself and then sized up the cave. The cave was huge and led all the way inside. Lu Ming followed the path and soon, he made a discovery. There was a small pond with water as black as ink, with bubbles constantly popping out. This water was an extremely dense demonic chi. This is the Devil's Pool. There's actually a Devil's Pool here. No wonder the devil chi is so dense. Lu Ming revealed a look of joy. The Devil's Pool was the birthplace of devil chi. There would be an endless stream of devil chi gushing out. Although it was only a small devil's pool, the devil chi it contained was already very rich. No wonder it could produce the devil origin fruit. No wonder there was a pack of giant wolves guarding this place. With a thought, the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body appeared. Lu Ming activated his cultivation technique and controlled the Celestial Thearch's body to absorb the demonic chi. The demonic chi here was extremely dense, and the effect was better than directly absorbing the raw gemstones. The demonic chi in the surroundings gathered toward the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body in a frenzy, turning into energy for storage. Just like that, the days passed by. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed, and the energy in the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body had reached about 3%. This speed was already very fast. In the past, Lu Ming had spent more than half a year to store 12% of the energy in the Celestial Thearch's body. On this day, a group of people arrived outside the valley. These people carried demonic sabers on their backs and their bodies were filled with a murderous aura. Their eyes were as sharp as blades. Counting the days, the demon origin fruits here are about to ripen. It's time to pick them. The leader of the group, a burly man, spoke. This person had a strong aura and had the cultivation of an emperor-to-be. However, there's a pack of demonic wolves in this valley. It's not easy to deal with them. Another person said, "What's so difficult about it? There's only one emperor-to-be MO wolf in this group of MO wolves. We have 3 emperor-to-be experts. It's enough to annihilate this group of demon wolves." The burly man in the lead said coldly. "Not bad. We'll kill our way in a while." Another emperor-to-be said. These people started to wait outside the valley. However, they didn't know that there was another group of people looking at them from the clouds in the distance. Chapter 2021 Fight Young Master. It's the people from Fiend Blade Mountain. What should we do now? In the clouds, an old man asked a young master. This young master was dressed in silk clothes, and he had a dignified look. This isn't easy. Let's wait for the people from Fiend Blade Mountain to fight with the giant wolves in the valley first. We can just sit back and reap the benefits. The young master smiled faintly. Young master is wise. The people beside the young master immediately started to flatter him, which made the young master quite happy. Time flew by, and another half a day passed. Do it! At the entrance of the valley, Fiend Blade Mountain's leader waved his hand. Following that, his figure flickered and they rushed into the valley. Roar! Roar! As soon as they rushed into the valley, They were discovered by the giant wolves in the valley. Immediately, hundreds of giant wolves, under the leadership of Giant Wolf King, charged towards the people from Fiend Blade Mountain. Baz! Baz! On Demonic Blade Mountain, 2 Emperor-to-be rushed towards Giant Wolf King, while the other Emperor-to-be rushed towards the other giant wolves with the others. The valley instantly fell into a chaotic battle. Even though there were fewer people from Fiend Blade Mountain, their strength was clearly stronger. The people who came here were at least in the Great Saint Realm, and half of them were in the Absolute Saint Realm. Under the leadership of an Emperor-to-be, a large number of giant wolves were killed. Giant Wolf King was also at a disadvantage against the 2 Emperor-to-be experts. Lu Ming naturally heard the commotion outside. However, Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He did not go out but continued to control the Celestial Thearch's body to absorb the demonic aura. Not long after, the sounds of the battle outside gradually died down. Under the siege of the 2 Emperor-to-be, Giant Wolf King's head was cut off by the leader of the other side. More than half of the other giant wolves were also killed, and the rest scattered and fled the place. Haha, demon origin fruit. The eyes of the leader of Fiend Blade Mountain revealed a greedy look as he looked at the cave where Lu Ming was. You want to obtain the demonic origin fruit with just your abilities? At this moment, a cold voice came from outside the valley. Then with a flash, a group of people rushed into the valley. It was the group of people who had been in the clouds. The face of the chief of Fiend Blade Mountain changed. He looked at the young child and the others, revealing a trace of vigilance. Who are you people? Do you recognize this? A black token appeared in the young master's hand. The moment Fiend Blade Mountain's people saw this token, their expressions changed drastically. You guys are from the Eternal Devil Nation. The leader of Fiend Blade Mountain shouted. The ancient Devil Nation was a super Devil Nation. One should know that there were only 2 super Devil Nations in the entire land of Myriad Devils. Each of them was shockingly powerful and were true overlords. They were not something their Fiend Blade Mountain could resist. Oh, so you're an expert from the Eternal Devil Nation. Pardon my rudeness. Since you've set your eyes on the demon origin fruit, well, let you have it then. Fiend Blade Mountain's leader squeezed out an ugly smile on his face. He was very unwilling in his heart. Give way? The ancient Luo Nation doesn't need you to give in. What I want, one will just take it. Attack and kill all these trash. The young master's indifferent voice sounded. Kill! The people around the young master immediately charged towards the people from Fiend Blade Mountain. Charge, charge out! The Fiend Blade Mountain's leader roared and turned into a fiend blade, wanting to rush out. But the next moment, 2 figures blocked him. Emperor-to-be. The 2 figures were both Emperor-to-be. What made him desperate was that the other 2 Emperors-to-be of the Demonic Blade Mountain were facing the same situation as him. They were blocked by 2 Emperors-to-be respectively. The young master had brought an astonishing number of experts, at least 6 Emperor-to-be. We've already given up the demonic origin fruit. Why are you still trying to kill us? The leader of Fiend Blade Mountain roared unwillingly. Ha ha, what a joke. You're born in the land of 10,000 demons, yet you still ask such a question. Kill! Kill! The young master shouted. His subordinates all charged towards the people from Fiend Blade Mountain. The young master's men were obviously stronger. Instantly, the people from Fiend Blade Mountain were killed one after another. There was no suspense in this battle. Not long after, the people of Fiend Blade Mountain followed in the footsteps of the giant wolf. They were even more miserable than the giant wolf. Not a single one of them escaped and all of them stayed here. In the land of infinite demons, such a battle was too normal. Especially when they encountered treasures, the battle would be even more brutal. Therefore, the fiendish cultivators in the land of myriad fiends were generally stronger in combat. In a battle of the same level, their combat strength was probably stronger than that of the people in the Yuan Mountain. And NBSP, the young master, kept the storage rings and smiled coldly. He didn't care at all and then led everyone towards the cave. Their eyes lit up as soon as they entered the cave. The 3 demon origin fruits are not ripe yet. However, they will be ripe in half an hour. An old man judged. Why does the demonic chi here keep flowing into the cave? Suddenly, some people discovered a problem. The demonic chi here had been gathering towards the cave. This was obviously not normal. They had once sent experts in to investigate and knew that there was a devil's pool in the depths of the cave. The devil chi should have been constantly spreading outside. There was someone inside. Everyone had the same thought. The young master's eyes flashed with killing intent. Let's go and take a look, the young master said coldly. The group walked into the cave. Soon, they arrived at the demonic pool and saw Lu Ming. The surging demonic qi was constantly gathering towards the celestial emperor's corporeal body. After more than 10 days of absorption, the demonic qi in the demonic pool had almost dried up. This golem is amazing. It can actually absorb demonic qi. The demonic qi in the demonic pool is almost dried up. It couldn't have been absorbed by this golem, right? It's a treasure. The crowd was in a heated discussion. The young master's eyes were filled with greed. Brat, you actually dared to secretly absorb the demonic qi here. You're really looking for death, the young man said coldly. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his eyes and casually glanced around before uttering a word. Get lost. The young master's face darkened instantly. Brat, you're looking for death. Young master, I'll go kill him. A burly man at the Absolute Saint realm said. Let's cripple him first and see what secrets he has, the young master ordered. Understood. The burly man at the Absolute Saint stage nodded his head. Then, his body moved like an eagle pouncing on its prey as he pounced towards Lu Ming. His claws were like blades as he grabbed at Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. Kill! Sword light! Lu Ming suddenly shouted. 2 sword lights shot out from his eyes and rushed into the body of the burly man at the Absolute Saint stage. The burly man screamed in pain and fell to the ground. He twitched a few times and stopped breathing. He was dead. The expressions of the young master and the others changed. An Absolute Saint expert died just like that. What kind of technique was this? Young master, be careful. This kid is not simple, an emperor-to-be said with a serious expression. Chapter 2021 Kill them all. Not simple? How old did he look? How strong could he be? How can he be stronger than an emperor-to-be? Let's attack together and destroy his cultivation. I want him to kneel in front of me and beg for mercy like a dog, the young master roared. Kill! As soon as the young master finished speaking, his subordinates stepped forward one after another. Their powerful auras pressed toward Lu Ming. He's really seeking his own death. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He had wanted to continue controlling the celestial emperor's corporeal body to absorb the demonic qi, but he had to stop now. With a wave of his hand, the celestial thearch's physical body was put away. Lu Ming stood up, and a powerful aura filled the air. You're only at the Absolute Saint realm. Dang! An emperor-to-be shouted coldly. His figure was like a bolt of lightning, rushing toward Lu Ming. He moved quickly, but Lu Ming was faster. He pointed his finger. As this finger pointed out, a terrifying whistling sound rang out in the space, as if the space was about to be pierced. All the attacks and defenses of the emperor-to-be were fragile under this finger. No! The emperor-to-be was terrified when he saw Lu Ming's finger enlarging in front of his eyes. He wanted to dodge, but he realized that it was too late. Lu Ming's finger touched the man's glabella. A terrifying force shot out and the man's head was pierced through. His soul was turned into ashes by this attack. Not only that, but the finger force continued to shoot backward with a trace of blood, piercing through a few more people. The rest of the people gasped and their expressions changed. One moved to kill an emperor-to-be. Such combat strength was too terrifying. Let's attack together. The young master roared madly. Boom! Boom! Everyone exploded. At least 7 emperor-to-be and some absolute saints attacked. All kinds of attacks were aimed at Lu Ming. Buzz! At that moment, a halo appeared on Lu Ming's body. It was the light of chaos. This is the light of law. Light of chaos. This person is the son of chaos. The son of chaos. Many people shouted in fear. It was simply unbelievable. The young man they had randomly met here was actually the son of chaos and had even refined the light of chaos. Lu Ming's chaotic light surrounded him. The attacks around him had no effect on him as they were all blocked by the chaotic light. Lu Ming moved his body and rushed toward the 2 emperor-to-be, pointing 2 fingers in succession. These 2 emperor-to-be followed in the footsteps of the previous emperor-to-be, being pierced by the finger force and dying here. Go, quickly go! Young master, run! The rest of the people shouted in fear. They did not dare to continue fighting with Lu Ming. The son of chaos, who had refined the light of laws, was too terrifying. It was impossible for them to be a match for him. If they stayed, they would only be met with death. At this moment, the young master was already scared out of his wits. He was being pulled by an emperor-to-be and was running away. "All of you stay," Lu Ming said coldly. As his body flashed, he pointed his finger again and another emperor-to-be was killed. Lu Ming's speed was as fast as lightning. He could kill an emperor-to-be with each attack. An ordinary emperor-to-be would be killed by Lu Ming in seconds. The young master had brought a total of 8 emperor-to-be with him. In an instant, Lu Ming had killed 7 of them. Only one was left, and he was running away with the young master. Whoosh! Whoosh! This time, Lu Ming pointed dozens of fingers in an instant. The entire sky was filled with finger shadows and finger forces. The finger force swept across, and the remaining people fell one by one. Since these people wanted to kill him, he did not show any mercy. Moreover, these people seemed to have an extraordinary background. It was Lu Ming's first time in the land of infinite demons. Chapter 2023. Yuluo Devil Kingdom. The young lady was being pursued by Rhe enemy. Although Lu Ming looked very young and might not be very powerful, as long as she could hold him off for a while, she would have a chance to escape. "I'm sorry, but I don't have Rhe strength to help you." Lu Ming shook his head and retreated even faster, distancing himself from the stunning woman. Seeing that Lu Ming was not willing to help her, the beautiful woman could only grit her teeth and fly in another direction. Before she left her, she cast a few hateful glances at Lu Ming, as if blaming him for not helping her. Lu Ming touched his nose. His goal was to go to Rhe Eternal Devil Nation, and he did not want to be a busybody. In the blink of an eye, the beautiful woman disappeared from their sight, and the people who were chasing behind her also quickly followed. To Lu Ming, this was just an interlude. He continued on his way and flew toward the nearest medium-level devil kingdom. After spending a few more days, he finally arrived at the outskirts of the capital of this mid-sized devil kingdom. There was indeed a teleportation formation in this middle-rank devil kingdom. "Where are you going?" A burly man in charge of Rhe teleportation array asked Lu Ming. "One want to go to the capital of the ancient devil nation," Lu Ming said. "The capital of Rhe Eternal Devil Nation? Kid, aren't you from the land of myriad demons? We mid-tier devil nations don't have the right RO teleport directly to the capital of Rhe Eternal Devil Nation. If you want to go there, you have to go to a high-tier devil nation and go there from there," the middle-aged man said. There was such a rule? Lu Ming was speechless. It seemed that he could only go to the high-ranked devil nation first and then head to the capital of the ancient devil nation from there. "All right, then I'll go to the high-ranked devil nation first," Lu Ming said. The nearest high-ranked devil kingdom is the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. "I suggest you go there first," the middle-aged man said. "All right, thank you." Lu Ming cupped his fists and paid the teleportation fee. He then stepped into the teleportation array. The next moment, Lu Ming disappeared from the teleportation array and arrived at another place. Lu Ming walked out of the teleportation array and asked around. He had already arrived at the Yuluo Demonic Kingdom. This was a citadel outside the capital of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. The Yuluo Devil Kingdom is one of the 10 high-tier devil kingdoms in the land of myriad devils. It's extremely powerful. Why don't I head to the capital of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom first and find out more about the Eternal Devil Kingdom? Lu Ming pondered in his heart. The Yuluo Devil Kingdom was one of the top 10 high-ranked devil kingdoms in the land of 10,000 devils. There was no need to doubt its strength. Lu Ming could take a look at the strength of the top forces in the land of myriad demons. In this way, he could also have a judgment of the overall strength of the land of myriad demons. Furthermore, even if he were to go Rhe capital of Rhe ancient devil nation, he would be in Rhe dark and wouldn't know where Ro start. He couldn't just run straight to the capital of the eternal devil nation and ask for the eternal devil coffin, right? If that were the case, he would be lucky if no one killed him. Therefore, he needed to think about it carefully. At the thought of this, Lu Ming did not head to Rhe capital of the Eternal Devil Kingdom. Instead, he flew to the capital of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. The capital of Rhe Yuluo Devil Kingdom was exceptionally grand and vast. Regardless of whether it was the city walls or the buildings inside, Most of them were built with a kind of black stone, and they were filled with an overbearing aura. Lu Ming walked on the streets of the Yuluo demonic kingdom and realized that there were many experts here. Each of them exuded demonic qi and their bodies were filled with killing intent. Lu Ming secretly sized them up and found that there were many Saint Realm experts and many Emperor-to-be experts. They could even see martial Emperor experts giving off Emperor might walking on the streets. Lu Ming discovered that the quality and number of experts in the land of infinite demons were higher than that in Rhe Yuan Mountain. "Kid, it's you." Suddenly, a cold and arrogant voice was heard. At the same time, a cold aura enveloped Lu Ming. Lu Ming frowned. The voice just now was obviously directed at him. However, it was his first time in the Yuluo demonic kingdom and he did not know anyone. Lu Ming looked in the direction of Rhe's sound. "It's her." Lu Ming was stunned. Not far away, a beautiful woman in a tight-fitting purple dress was staring at Lu Ming coldly. Wasn't this lady the one who was being hunted down a few days ago and had asked Lu Ming for help? He did not expect to meet her here. This was too much of a coincidence. Lu Ming was rather speechless. The young woman's aura was very cold and it enveloped Lu Ming. "It's Her Highness, the eldest princess." "Who's that kid? He seems to have made the eldest princess very unhappy. He's finished." Around them, many people stopped to watch and started to discuss. The eldest princess? Lu Ming was speechless. Could this person be the princess of the Yuluo demonic kingdom? "Princess, is this the person who left us in the lurch?" a young man asked. There were a few people beside Rhe beautiful woman. "That's right, this is the person." The eldest princess replied coldly. Back then, he was being chased by the enemy and met Lu Ming on the way. He asked Lu Ming for help, but Lu Ming did not save him. Fortunately, he met with reinforcements later and escaped from danger. He did nor expect Ro meet Lu Ming in the capital of the Yuluo demonic kingdom. At the thought of Lu Ming's attitude back then, a cold glint flashed in Rhe's eldest princess' eyes. He left the eldest princess in the lurch. 111 go cripple him. A skinny elder behind the eldest princess said coldly. He moved and pounced at Lu Ming. A demonic palm print blasted at Lu Ming, bringing with it gusts of strong wind. The eldest princess didn't stop him, only watching indifferently. "Girl lost." Lu Ming shouted coldly and struck our palm as well, matching the skinny elder's palm. Boom! With a loud boom, Rhe's skinny old man's body trembled violently. His body flew back at an even faster speed, and he fell to the ground, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Lu Ming had been merciful. It was his first time here and he did not want to cause trouble. Otherwise, the other party would have been dead. Many people were shocked. The skinny elder had Rhe cultivation of an absolute saint, but he was injured by Lu Ming in one move. This young man's combat strength was not weak. Many people were thinking, "How dare you fight back? You're looking for death." The young man beside the eldest princess shouted coldly. His gaze was as cold as a blade. Buzz! He took a step forward and his figure was like a phantom as he rushed toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming furrowed his brows, a trace of anger rising in his heart. In the wilderness, he had met Rhe's eldest princess. He was not related to the eldest princess in any way, so why did he save her? It was his freedom to save or not to save. But now, the other party wanted to cripple his cultivation and even kill him because of this matter. How tyrannical! Boom! The young man made his move. He struck out with his palm as well. The force of his palm was like an avalanche, pressing down on Lu Ming. This young man was very strong, many times stronger than the skinny old man. Not only had he reached Rhe pinnacle of the absolute saint realm, but he also had a superior class sky spiritual body. Get lost! Lu Ming frowned, Lai shouted and struck out with his palm as well. In his palm, dark lightning flashed. The palm and the other's palm print collided, and the result was almost the same as the skinny old man's. The young man grunted and his body was thrown far away. He fell to the ground and his body twitched. Black lightning was swimming around his body. Chapter 2024. The eldest princess guessed elder looking at the young man who was spasming on the ground. Many people were stunned. This young man was not an ordinary person. He was very famous in the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. He was the young master of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom's Grand Marshal. His name was Ji Peng, and his name was well known throughout the entire Yuluo Devil Kingdom. In the Yuluo Demonic Kingdom, apart from a few king physiques, Ji Peng was considered a top heaven's favorite among the younger generation. In the past, someone had made a ranking list of the 10 strongest heaven's favorites in the Yuluo Demonic Kingdom, excluding the king physique. Ji Peng was ranked 9th among the 10 great heaven's favorites. Of course, with the addition of the king physique, Ji Peng would be ranked a dozen or so behind, but it was still no small matter. But now, Ji Peng was defeated by Lu Ming in one move. Lu Ming's ability was definitely shocking. Who is this person? He looks very young, but he has such battle prowess, even stronger than Ji Peng. Could it be that he has a king physique? It's not a king body. When this person attacked just now, there was a flash of demonic lightning. It should be a demonic lightning law, not a king body. In the Yuluo Demonic Kingdom, other than the king physique, this person can be ranked in the top 10, or even top 8. Some of the onlookers were discussing in low voices. Indeed, Lu Ming did not use the Chaos Law or the Array Dao Law. Instead, he used the Chaos Law to transform into the Demonic Lightning Law and cover the Saint energy with the Demonic Lightning Law, making him look like a demonic cultivator. The eldest princess looked at Lu Ming in surprise. Lu Ming's abilities were stronger than she had imagined. Buzz! At this moment, Ji Peng flipped over and stood up. His body exploded with cold killing intent as he roared, "Brat, I didn't use my full strength just now. If you do it again, I'll kill you." Ji Peng roared, and his aura became even more violent. He had been too careless and did not use his full strength. He did not even use his sacred art, which was why he was sent flying by Lu Ming in one move. Lu Ming frowned. He had already shown mercy, but the other party did not know when to retreat. In that case, he could not be blamed for being impolite. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a sharp light. "All right, stop." At this moment, the eldest princess' voice rang out, causing Ji Peng's body to freeze. "Eldest princess, this person is extremely daring. He even dares to hit the princess people. Let me cripple him." Ji Peng's eyes were cold. He did not want to let Lu Ming off. He didn't use his full strength just now. If we really fight, you may not be his match. Both of you will only suffer. You guys leave first. I have something to ask him. The eldest princess said. "Eldest princess, if you let us leave, what if this brat makes a move?" An old man said worriedly. "You think he can hurt me?" The eldest princess retorted. The others didn't say anything. With the eldest princess' strength, how could this person hurt her? "Then take care, eldest princess." Ji Peng's eyes flickered. He then looked at Lu Ming and said, "Brat, you're lucky today. I'll spare your life." Then, he left with the others. "Farewell." Lu Ming cupped his fists and turned to leave. He instinctively felt that this first princess was not a kind person, and he was too lazy to be associated with her. "Why are you in such a hurry to leave?" The eldest princess moved like a ray of light, light as if she was weightless, and chased after Lu Ming. Lu Ming furrowed his brows and shot into the sky. The eldest princess did the same and followed Lu Ming. "Eldest princess, what are you trying to do?" Lu Ming stopped and asked with a frown. "You're quite strong. One could sense that even if Ji Peng had fought you with all his strength, he wouldn't have been your opponent. Come to me and be my guest elder." The eldest princess spoke, her expression still carrying a trace of cold arrogance and superiority. "I'm not interested." Lu Ming turned around and left. "I won't let you be my guest forever. As long as you work for me for the next 3 months, you can leave." The eldest princess continued to speak, but Lu Ming had no intention of stopping. A cold glint flashed in the eldest princess' eyes. If not for the fact that she was in urgent need of talents recently, and Lu Ming dared to treat her with such an attitude, she would have already taken action. "One won't let you do anything dangerous. As long as you help me fight against the heaven's favorite of the Yuluo Empire 1 month later, I'll be fine. Whatever conditions you have, just state them." The eldest princess continued to follow as she spoke. "Oh!" At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly stopped. He looked at the eldest princess and said, "I can state any condition? As long as it's not too much, you can mention it." The eldest princess said. One wished to get to know someone from the imperial family of the Eternal Devil Nation. Are you able to introduce me to them? Lu Ming said. If the other party could introduce him to someone from the imperial family of the Eternal Devil Nation, it would save him a lot of trouble. He could agree to it for now. Moreover, the other party was only going to be her guest elder for 3 months and only to compete with the geniuses of the Yuluo Empire. This was not a big deal to Lu Ming. There was no harm in agreeing to it. He. And here one thought it was something big. Not long ago, the king of the Eternal Devil Nation has just transcended another great tribulation of the heavens and earth. 3 months from now, he's going to hold a grand banquet for the entire world. Countless devil nations will be there to celebrate, including my Yuluo Devil Nation. I'll naturally be able to introduce you to him then. The eldest princess said. Lu Ming was overjoyed. The king of the ancient devil nation had just survived a great calamity and was going to hold a feast. This was a great opportunity for Lu Ming. All right, I'll agree to be your guest elder, but I'll only be your guest elder for 3 months. If you ask me to deal with a martial emperor powerhouse or something, I'll have to refuse. Lu Ming said. Don't worry. Why would I ask you to go against a martial emperor? Seeing that Lu Ming had agreed, the eldest princess smiled. Take this guest elder token. A token appeared in the eldest princess' hand and she threw it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming reached out to take it and put it away. Come back to the princess manor with me now. I'll arrange a place for you to stay, he said. The eldest princess said. Lu Ming nodded. The princess manor was very spacious and had many palaces. The eldest princess had arranged a courtyard for Lu Ming. It was very big and quiet. On the way, Lu Ming also found out the eldest princess' name. She was called Yu Ning. The eldest princess left after arranging a place for Lu Ming to stay. In the next few days, Lu Ming secretly asked around and found out a lot of things. It turned out that the Yuluo demonic kingdom was founded by 2 demonic Dao clans. However, the question of which family would be in charge of the Yuluo demonic kingdom after the founding of the kingdom remained. The later rules stated that every 10,000 years, the 2 families would send out their young geniuses to compete. The winner would continue to rule the Yuluo demonic kingdom for another 10,000 years. The eldest princess, Yu Ning, belonged to the Yu family. The Yu family had been in control of the Yuluo devil kingdom for 20,000 years. In another month, the once-in-10,000-year cycle would begin again. The prodigies of the 2 families would compete to decide which family would be in control of the Yuluo devil kingdom. Therefore, during this period of time, eldest Princess Yu Ning had been secretly gathering geniuses to increase her strength. Lu Ming finally understood why Yu Ning wanted him to be a guest elder. It was for this reason. Chapter 2025 Throw out. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. For the past 10 days, Lu Ming had been cultivating in peace in the Grand Princess residence. And NBSP his chaos laws had reached 97% and his array Dao laws had reached 99%. It could be said that he was already very close to perfection. However, the closer he was to perfection, the harder it would be to improve. Many people's nomological laws stopped at 99% maturity for hundreds, thousands, and even tens of thousands of years. Even the stellar river had stopped for a long time. If he wanted to break through, he needed to accumulate experience. When his comprehension of the laws was sufficient, it would naturally come to fruition. On this day, Lu Ming was cultivating when Ji Peng brought a few people into the Grand Princess residence with a gloomy expression. They were walking towards Lu Ming's residence. Ji Peng's status was no small matter, so naturally, no one stopped him. When they arrived at Lu Ming's residence, Ji Peng kicked the door open and walked in with a dark expression. Lu Ming, get out here! Ji Peng coldly shouted. In the room, Lu Ming, who was cultivating, opened his eyes. There was a sharp glint in his eyes. Unhurriedly, Lu Ming walked out of the room and saw Ji Peng looking at him coldly. More than 10 days ago, Lu Ming had sent him flying with a palm strike in public, causing him to twitch on the ground and lose face. During this period of time, he had been brooding over it and wanted to find a chance to take revenge. Later on, when he heard that Lu Ming had become the eldest princess guest elder, he was even more furious. After holding it in for a few days, he finally could not help but bring Lu Ming here. Brat, one know what you're trying to do. You want to become the princess guest elder and get close to her. You've got a good plan. Now, It'll give you a chance to get out of the princess manor. Ji Peng coldly spoke. The eldest princess sent you here? Lu Ming said. There's no need for the eldest princess to instruct us on this matter. Ji Peng said. I'm the eldest princess foreign dignitary, not yours. Since the eldest princess didn't say anything, then who do you think you are? What right do you have to make me leave? Lu Ming replied indifferently. These words made Ji Peng's face even gloomier. Brat, you'd better get out by yourself. Otherwise, I'll break your 4 limbs and throw you out. Ji Peng said coldly. Get lost. Lu Ming spat out the word coldly. He had already lost his patience. Brat, what's with your attitude? How dare you talk to the second young master like that? I'll cripple you. A burly man beside Ji Peng rushed over and threw a punch at Lu Ming's dantian. This was to cripple Lu Ming's cultivation. This brawny man was in the great circle of the absolute saint realm. He punched out, and the terrifying fist force made the space howl. Zzzzzzzzz. Lu Ming circulated the chaos law and transformed it into the demonic lightning law. Lightning swam around his body as if he was wearing a lightning armor. Whoosh! Lu Ming's figure moved and he threw a punch at the burly man. Zzzzzzzzz. The lightning spread and instantly destroyed the opponent's attack. The black lightning covered the opponent's body, causing him to tremble and retreat. Then, Lu Ming took a step forward and slapped the burly man. The burly man flew backward and fell to the ground, his body twitching non-stop. Ji Peng and the others' eyes suddenly narrowed. Lu Ming's combat strength was stronger than they had imagined. A perfected absolute saint had been defeated in 2 moves. Even Ji Peng might not be able to do it himself. Let's attack together. Ji Peng let out a furious roar. His body was like a ROC spreading its wings as he flew towards Lu Ming. With a shake of his arms emitted a mysterious light. They were like the wings of a ROC, but also like 2 heavenly blades. 2 rays of light burst out and shot towards Lu Ming. This was his divine power technique. When he exchanged blows with Lu Ming previously, he did not use his divine power technique. At the same time, the remaining 2 people also moved. The 2 of them were also in the great circle of the absolute saint realm. They used their divine abilities to attack Lu Ming. He was ruthless and merciless. If Lu Ming was no match for him, he would be killed. You're pushing it. The cold glint in Lu Ming's eyes intensified. He condensed a long spear in his hand, which was covered with a layer of black lightning. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. He stabbed 3 times in a row. There were 3 consecutive explosions. The attacks of Ji Peng and the other 2 were all blocked by Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming seemed to have transformed into a bolt of lightning. In a flash, he appeared in front of an elder in the absolute saint's perfection. The lightning spear stabbed out at an astonishing speed. It pierced the elder's dantian and shattered his saint heart. The man wailed in pain as his body flew out and fell to the ground, screaming in pain. This person's cultivation had already been crippled by Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming moved again and appeared in front of the remaining absolute saint. He thrust his spear again and crippled his cultivation. After 2 people were crippled in a row, Ji Peng was so scared that his liver and guts were torn apart. He quickly retreated, wanting to escape, but he didn't dare to fight. However, with a flash of lightning, Lu Ming caught up to Ji Peng. Although Lu Ming had transformed the chaos law into the demonic lightning law, its power had been greatly reduced. However, Lu Ming's spirit body and his saint energy were far above Ji Peng's. Ji Peng was not his match at all. Although he tried his best, he was still crushed by Lu Ming. Kacha! Lu Ming broke one of Ji Peng's arms with a palm strike and then broke one of his legs with a kick. Kacha! Kacha! After a few consecutive explosions, Ji Peng's 4 limbs were broken by Lu Ming. He lay on the ground like a dead dog. Get lost! Lu Ming kicked Ji Peng and a few of his subordinates a few times, sending them flying out of the courtyard. After all, this was the Yuluo Devil Kingdom and the eldest princess' residence. He couldn't kill Ji Peng. If he did, he could only run away. This was not Lu Ming's goal. He still needed the eldest princess to introduce him to the royal family of the Eternal Demon Nation. Kid, just you wait. Ji Peng's sinister voice came from outside the courtyard. He had said that he would break Lu Ming's limbs and throw him out. In the end, His limbs were broken and he was thrown out like a dead dog. This made him furious. Lu Ming frowned. If the other party went too far, he would not mind killing him and leaving the Yuluo demonic kingdom. He would think of other ways. The next morning, a group of people arrived at the eldest princess manor and met with her directly. Chapter 2026. King Physique, is it very amazing? Lu Ming, the little bastard who left the princess in the lurch. Ji Peng said coldly. Lu Ming, what's wrong with him? The eldest princess was puzzled. Eldest princess, Lu Ming crippled the cultivation of two of our Ji family's absolute saints in the great perfection for no reason yesterday. He even broke Ji Peng's limbs. He must pay for his actions. Ji Peng's big brother said coldly. Ji Peng's elder brother was called Ji Tian. There's actually such a thing. The eldest princess raised her brows and ordered her servants, call Lu Ming over. Lu Ming was cultivating when he heard the commotion outside. He got up and came out. Young Master Lu, the eldest princess has invited you, a middle-aged guard said. He came so quickly. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The first thought that came to his mind was that the Ji family had come looking for him. All right. Lu Ming nodded. He and the middle-aged guard went to the main hall of the eldest princess. As expected, it's the Ji family. Lu Ming saw Ji Peng the moment he arrived at the main hall. Ji Peng and the rest also looked at Lu Ming with cold eyes. Lu Ming, did you cripple the cultivation of a few of the Ji family's experts yesterday? The eldest princess sat at the head of the table and asked with a cold and arrogant expression. Not bad. Lu Ming answered. How dare you? You're even touched by my Ji family. Kill yourself and I'll leave your corpse intact. Ji Peng's uncle smacked the table and coldly said. What a joke. They wanted to kill me. Can't one fight back? Lu Ming sneered. Do you understand who you're talking to? This attitude. Ji Peng's uncle's eyes were like lightning as he swept his gaze over Lu Ming. A powerful pressure emanated from him. Lu Ming's expression changed, and he could not help but take a few steps back. Ji Peng's uncle was definitely a terrifying expert. It seems like the Ji family doesn't even care about the eldest princess. Lu Ming said coldly. Uncle Ji Peng's expression changed slightly, and he retracted his aura. After all, this was the eldest princess residence and Lu Ming was the eldest princess man in name. Without the eldest princess' consent, he would have crossed the line if he attacked her directly. Eldest princess, this person crippled the cultivation of our Ji family's expert and injured Ji Peng. He must be punished. Otherwise, how can our Ji family rule the army and convince the masses? Ji Tian said coldly. Lu Ming, what's going on? The eldest princess asked. Lu Ming's combat strength was not bad. He would be useful to her in the near future. She did not want Lu Ming to be crippled just like that. Eldest princess, yesterday, Ji Peng brought a few people from the Ji family and barged into my courtyard. They threatened to cripple me and attack me. I was only protecting myself. If one hadn't attacked, I would have been dead by now. Lu Ming recounted what had happened yesterday. I see. The eldest princess nodded. Ji Peng, you've gone too far in this matter. Lu Ming is my guest elder after all. However, Lu Ming's actions were too heavy. How about this? I'll take out some treasures to compensate the Ji family. Also, Lu Ming, you'll apologize to the Ji family in public. What do you think? Apologize to the Ji family. Lu Ming frowned. What did he do wrong in this matter? How could he apologize? No, we have to at least cripple his 4 limbs and make him apologize in public. Ji Peng called out. That's right, this person must be punished. Ji Tian followed. In my opinion, both sides should take a step back. Lu Ming will apologize in public and give some compensation. Then, this matter will be settled. How about it? The eldest princess spoke again. At the same time, she sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Lu Ming, Ji Peng's father is the Defender General of the state. The Ji family is extremely powerful. Bear with it, apologize to the Ji family, and give them some compensation. If you take a step back, you'll have a better life. Lu Ming sneered. What taking a step back would open up the world? This matter was not his fault at all. The eldest princess actually wanted him to apologize. It was obvious that she did not want to offend the Ji family. However, the Ji family obviously didn't want to let it go so easily. Princess, we can give you face today and not deal with him for the time being. However, Princess, you must drive this person out of the princess manor. Ji Peng's uncle said. Ji Peng, Ji Tian, and the others sneered. After being expelled from the princess manor and without the eldest princess protection, given the Ji family's strength, Lu Ming would die in whatever way they wanted him to. The eldest princess frowned. She naturally knew the Ji family's intentions. However, Lu Ming's combat strength was not bad. Since he could defeat Ji Peng, his combat strength was definitely above Ji Peng's. It would be of great help in the battle with the Luo family 20 days later. It would be a pity to give up just like that. Eldest princess, our Ji family has always been on your side. If this kid affects our relationship, I'm afraid it'll be a loss for you. Ji Peng's uncle said indifferently, his words hinting at something. The eldest princess' expression was somewhat unsightly. The Ji family was threatening her. However, she had to compromise. The Ji family was extremely powerful. If she helped the Luo family, it would have a huge impact on her. The most important thing was Ji Tian. Ji Tian had a king body, and the number of king bodies in the entire Yuluo demonic kingdom could be counted on one hand. In the battle with the Luo family 20 days later, Ji Tian was of utmost importance as he could influence the outcome. Therefore, no matter what, she had to keep the Ji family in her hands and not ruin their relationship. Many thoughts flashed through the eldest princess' mind. Eldest princess, you have to consider this carefully. My big brother has the king physique and can decide the outcome of this battle with the Luo clan. Seeing that the eldest princess didn't say anything, Ji Peng coldly spoke. Having said that, he even cast a disdainful look at Lu Ming. What he meant was, so what if you have some combat power? Can he be compared to my big brother? Could it be compared to the king physique? The eldest princess' brows twitched slightly. Ji Peng's words made her very unhappy. But she couldn't lose the Ji family support, so she muttered to herself and made a decision. The eldest princess looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you've gone too far this time. You've already broken the rules by hitting me so hard. So, please leave the princess manor. As expected. Lu Ming sneered. The eldest princess had indeed chosen the Ji family. In her opinion, Lu Ming was just a talent with some combat ability. He could not be compared to the Ji family. In particular, Ji Tian's king physique could play a key role in the confrontation with the Luo family this time. The people from the Ji family sneered. As long as Lu Ming left the eldest princess manor, he would be dead. All right. Lu Ming did not say much. He turned and left. Since the eldest princess had already chosen the Ji family, there was no need for him to stay. After taking a few steps, Lu Ming stopped and turned to look at Ji Tian. He said indifferently, "King physique? Is it that amazing?" With that, Lu Ming turned and strode away, disappearing from the hall. You're just a frog at the bottom of a well. I'm afraid you don't even know how powerful the king physique is. Very soon, he will know how strong the king physique is. Some of the Ji family members sneered. Lu Ming's attitude made it seem as if he did not care about the king physique at all. They were very unhappy. What if what one said is true? What if I can really help the little princess win? If you stop me from going to the eldest princess side and help the eldest princess win, what will happen to you if the little princess finds out about this? Lu Ming was not angry and spoke calmly. The two big men's expressions changed. Although they were certain that Lu Ming was just boasting. But just in case. If Lu Ming really had the ability to do so, he would join the eldest princess side in a fit of anger after being stopped by them. By then, he would help the eldest princess achieve victory, and they would be sinners. The Luo family would not let them off. The two of them looked at each other and nodded silently. It wasn't a big deal to just pass on the message. If Lu Ming did not have the real ability and was just bragging, someone would naturally deal with him. All right, you wait here. I'll go pass the message. A burly man said, and then hurriedly ran in to pass on the message. After a while, the burly man returned and said, "The little princess wants to see you. Come with me." Lu Ming smiled and walked into the depths of the mansion with the burly man. Brat, you better have some real skills, or you'll be miserable. The burly man reminded him on the way. Many thanks. Lu Ming smiled. He looked calm and had a faint smile on his face. The burly man was puzzled. Could it be that this kid really had the real deal? The mansion was huge. After making a few turns, they arrived at a large hall. There were only 3 people in the hall. At the head of the hall sat a woman in black. She looked to be in her 20s. The woman was extremely beautiful. She was even more beautiful than the eldest princess, Yuning. At this moment, the lady was blinking her big eyes and sizing Lu Ming up curiously. A young man stood on each side of the woman. His eyes were like lightning as they stared at Lu Ming. Your subordinate greets the princess. The burly man saluted the woman. Yes, stand aside. The beautiful lady, who was also the little princess, Luo Xian, waved her hand, but her gaze was fixed on Lu Ming. You said that you can help me defeat Yu Ning and the Yu family? Luo Xian spoke, his voice clear and melodious. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. Hey, I'm telling you, you're not allowed to lie to me. If you're lying to me, it'll make you miserable, you know that? Luo Xian had 2 canine teeth, and as he spoke, his 2 canine teeth were exposed, making him look quite cute. Although she wanted to say it fiercely, it was a pity that she did not look murderous at all. Little princess, we'll know if this kid has the ability after we try him. If he's boasting shamelessly, I'll throw him out and feed him to the dogs. On the left, a young man in a purple robe said coldly. At the same time, he took a step forward and pressed toward Lu Ming. Luo Xian didn't stop him. Instead, he looked on curiously. Kid, show me what you got. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. The purple-robed young man said coldly. He turned into a purple light and charged at Lu Ming. He waved his palm and a purple sword light cut through the void, slashing at Lu Ming. Absolute saint in the great circle. Lu Ming's heart stirred. This purple-robed young man had the cultivation of an absolute saint in the great circle. Lu Ming could also tell that his spiritual body was a superior-grade heavenly spiritual body, which was even stronger than Ji Peng's. The purple-robed young man had used 90% of his power in this attack, which was very powerful. However, there was still a faint smile on Lu Ming's face, as if he had not seen the purple-robed youth's attack. As expected. He's a boastful person. On the right, another young man sneered. However, at this moment, Lu Ming moved. He stretched out a finger and tapped lightly. Chapter 2027 Probing. Lu Ming stretched out a finger and tapped lightly on the purple-robed youth's sword gleam. Bang! The purple-robed young man's sword light shattered in an instant. At the same time, dense runes spread out from Lu Ming's fingers and covered the purple-robed young man at an extreme speed. The purple-robed youth was shocked and quickly retreated, but it was too late. He hadn't retreated very far before his body was covered by a dense array of magical symbols. He felt as if his cultivation base had been sealed, and then he fell to the ground with a thump. The 3 people at the scene were dumbfounded. The purple-robed young man was defeated in one move. The purple-robed youth was no ordinary person. He was extremely famous in the Yuluo demonic kingdom, and his reputation was even greater than Ji Peng. Apart from the king body, the Yuluo demonic kingdom had 10 strongest heavens favorites. Ji Peng was ranked 9th, while the purple-robed youth was ranked 5th. Such a prodigy was no match for Lu Ming and was defeated in one move. Array Dao Laws, you have a king physique. At this moment, the little princess, Luo Xian, had already stood up from her seat. She looked at Lu Ming with bright eyes. King physique. The other people in the hall were all shocked. In the entire Yuluo Devil Kingdom, there were only a handful of people with king physiques. This young man actually had a king body. No wonder he could defeat the purple-robed young man in one move. Especially the burly man who was guarding the gate. He was secretly scared. Previously, he had thought that Lu Ming was boasting shamelessly and was just finding an excuse to get close to the little princess. Now, it seemed that they had made a big mistake. Lu Ming was really capable. Fortunately, he had come in to inform them. Otherwise, like what Lu Ming had said, if he went to seek refuge with the eldest princess, they would really be done for. At this moment, Lu Ming waved his hand and the runes covering the purple-robed young man disappeared. The purple-robed young man stood up and looked at Lu Ming with a grave expression. Do you really want to join me and be my guest? The little princess, Luo Xian, looked at Lu Ming curiously. Of course. Why else would I be here? Lu Ming smiled. Why do you want to join me? The little princess continued to ask. Little princess, you're a famous beauty. If I don't side with you, who should I side with? Lu Ming replied with a smile. The little princess laughed in a sweet voice. She laughed so hard that her eyes squinted and said, I like your reason. However, Yu Ning is also beautiful. Why don't you go to her? The little princess continued to ask. She looked innocent, but she was actually very meticulous. To tell you the truth, one ruthlessly beat up Ji Peng yesterday, and was just chased out by the eldest princess. Lu Ming did not hide anything and told her what had happened. Lu Ming was very clear that this matter could not be hidden even if he wanted to. As long as the little princess sent someone to investigate, it would not be difficult to find out. Oh, there's actually such a thing. This time Yu Ning has misjudged you. I wonder what kind of expression she'll have when she finds out that you have a king body during the competition. Interesting, interesting. The little princess laughed again and continued, there should be a condition for you to join me, right? I need the little princess to introduce me to the royal family of the ancient devil nation. Also, I'll only be your guest for a few months. Lu Ming said. Alright, that's easy. We'll be heading to the eternal devil nation soon. One do know a few princesses and princes of the eternal devil nation. I'll introduce them to you guys then. The little princess agreed without hesitation. Then she looked at the others and ordered, don't spread the news about Lu Ming. Yes. The two young men and the guard nodded in agreement. All of you may leave. One will personally arrange a place for Lu Ming to stay. The little princess instructed. The two young men and the burly guard bowed and took their leave, leaving Lu Ming and the little princess alone in the hall. You didn't use your full strength just now, did you? You said you could help me win. I want to see how strong you are. As soon as the little princess finished speaking, her body floated toward Lu Ming like a black cloud. At the same time, the little princess waved her hand and a black ray of light enveloped Lu Ming. Peak of an absolute saint. As soon as the little princess attacked, Lu Ming could tell that her cultivation base was the same as his. They were both at the peak of the absolute saint realm. Roar! Lu Ming activated the array Dao Law and pointed his finger. A true dragon roared and pounced forward. It was completely condensed by the array Dao runes. Boom! The black light of the true dragon and the little princess collided with each other, creating a loud boom. Then, countless runes spread out from the little princess body. Judge! The little princess let out a soft cry, and black light burst forth, forcibly obliterating the endless symbols. The Law of Judgment. Lu Ming's heart stirred. The Law of Judgment was also an extremely terrifying law of the way of the king. It was known to judge everything and had astonishing offensive power. Again! The little princess moved forward and fought with Lu Ming again. Lu Ming operated the array Dao Law and fought with the little princess. Lu Ming did not use his full strength as a human. Lu Ming's spirit body was definitely much stronger than the little princess. His saint energy was also stronger than the little princess. In the 3 scrolls of array Dao, Lu Ming only used the fusion of the illusionary spirit scroll and the sealed scroll. He did not add the annihilation scroll. Even so, the little princess was still at a disadvantage after dozens of exchanges. Satisfying, satisfying. After exchanging dozens of blows, the little princess retreated and said in a tender voice, Lu Ming, you're not weak, but Ji Tian from the Ji family also has a king body. Moreover, his cultivation has already reached the perfected absolute saint realm. I'm afraid he's even stronger than you. How would little princess know? I used all my strength just now. Lu Ming said with a smile. You didn't use your full strength? So, you're looking down on me. The little princess pouted. Lu Ming could not help but touch his nose. This little prince's temper was really ever-changing. Lu Ming could not help but think of a person. Xian Yanqing. The little prince's temper was similar to Xian Yanqing's in the past. Little Qing, where are you now? Lu Ming could not help but sigh in his heart. Back then, the Ice Dragon Patriarch had escaped with Xian Yanqing. Chapter 2029. Start. One move in the center of the capital of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom, there was a huge fighting stage. There were many seats built around the fighting ring, as well as a large open space. On this day, the fighting ring was surrounded by a sea of people. The Yuluo Devil Kingdom was founded by the two great clans. Every 10,000 years, they would decide which clan would take control of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. Therefore, this was the biggest event in the past 10,000 years, and countless people had gathered here. There were people everywhere. Lu Ming and the people from the Luo family were sitting on the grandstand on the east side of the fighting ring. The spectators' stand was filled with the Luo family's experts. At a glance, Lu Ming could see many void emperors and true emperors. The father of the little princess, Luo Xian, was also from the Luo family. He sat at the very front. On the west side of the fighting ring were the Yu family. At this moment, the two sides sized each other up. That Lu Ming actually sided with Luo Xian. Damn it! Ji Peng saw Lu Ming and immediately shouted angrily. Ji Tian and Yu Ning also looked at Lu Ming with cold eyes. The Ji family is really useless. I've already chased Lu Ming out and I can't find him. Instead, he's relying on Luo Xian. Yu Ning's eyes flashed with a cold light as he roared in his heart. Lu Ming's combat strength was very strong and he could easily defeat Ji Peng. He would have some influence on this competition. When she chased Lu Ming out, she had already thought that Lu Ming might join Luo Xian in a fit of anger. However, she was also clear that once she expelled Lu Ming, the Ji family would not let him off. Lu Ming would most likely be killed by the Ji family, and would not have the chance to rely on Luo Xian. He did not expect the Ji family to be so useless. Lu Ming had actually escaped and even successfully sought refuge with Luo Xian. I must kill Lu Ming if I have the chance during the competition. Yu Ning sent a voice transmission to Ji Tian, Ji Peng, and the others. Don't worry, if this kid touches me, it'll make him die a terrible death. Ji Tian spoke with a cold killing intent. If he touches me, it'll make him wish he was dead. A yellow-robed young man said coldly. This yellow-robed young man was called Huang Song. In the Yuluo demonic kingdom, Huang Song was the strongest aside from the king physique. He was ranked first among the 10 strongest heaven's favorites after the king physique. He was much stronger than Ji Peng. Yu Ning, Ji Tian, and the others sized up Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, Luo Xian, and the others were also sizing each other up. According to the old rules, each side will send 50 heaven's favorites to fight in pairs until the end. The winner will be the winner. Luo Xian sent a voice transmission to everyone. Lu Ming nodded. This rule was simple. This time, among the younger generation, our two sides have 2 king physiques each. Their cultivation levels are about the same, so the battle of king physiques will likely result in both sides suffering losses. Therefore, the battle of non-king physiques is very important. Luo Xian continued. The king physique he mentioned did not include Lu Ming. The fact that Lu Ming was a king physique had not been spread out yet. However, other than the king physique, there's one person you have to pay attention to. That is Huang Song. Although he doesn't have a king physique, his battle power is very strong. He has had a fortuitous encounter, so his spirit physique is stronger than ordinary spirit physiques. Furthermore, this person's divine arts are also very well trained. You have to be careful when you meet this person. Luo Xian warned. Many people nodded their heads. They were naturally aware of Huang Song's methods. At this moment, a figure flew onto the fighting ring. This person was very old and was an elder of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. He was also the judge of this competition. Chapter 2030. The battle between the big and small princesses. After defeating his opponent, Lu Ming moved and returned to the stands. Luo Xian's gaze swept over Lu Ming from time to time. He felt that Lu Ming was not as simple as he seemed. The competition continued. Luo Xian and the purple-robed young man attacked one after the other, easily winning. In addition, the Luo family also had a king physique. He was very powerful and defeated his opponent in one move. On the Yu family's side, Yu Ning and Ji Tian naturally won easily. Ji Peng also won. As for Huang Song, he was even more brutal. He showed no mercy and instantly tore a Heaven's Pride expert from the Luo clan into pieces. He stood on the fighting stage, bathed in blood, and roared like a murderous beast. On the Luo family's side, other than Lu Ming and a few others, everyone's expression changed. Soon, the first round was over. Both sides had 50 people, but after the first round, there was a difference in the number of people. The Yu family had been in charge of the Yuluo demonic kingdom for 20,000 years and had a deep foundation. Naturally, there were more geniuses who submitted to them. Hence, after the first round, the Yu family had gained the upper hand. After the first round, the Yu family still had 28 people, while the Luo family only had 18 people. Why wasn't the total number of people on both sides 50? Because in the process of the war, some people were injured by both sides. Therefore, the total number of people on both sides was naturally less than 50. The second round of the competition was the same as the first round. The number of the remaining people from both sides would be placed in the box and the drawing of lots would begin. The two people who were drawn would fight. This way, the side with more people would definitely have an advantage. This was because the side with more people would not need to fight, and they could save their physical strength and holy power. In the second round, Lu Ming also appeared very early. However, the opponent he met was not strong and he was easily defeated. After that, Luo Xian and another king body also won. Yu family's number 3 versus Luo family's number 5. At this moment, the doyen's voice rang out again. It's the two of them. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. Yu family's number 3 was Huang Song. Number 5 from the Luo family was the purple-robed young man who had tried to test Lu Ming previously. His name was Wuxia. Buzz. Huang Song's figure appeared in the fighting ring. He looked at Wuxia with a ferocious expression and shouted, "Haha, Wuxia, one didn't expect it to be you. Hurry up and get up here to die." Wuxia stood up with a grave expression. Among the top 10 young experts other than the king body, Huang Song was ranked first and Wuxia was ranked 5th. In the previous battles, he was definitely not Huang Song's match. If you can't defeat him, then admit defeat. It's more important to save your life. Luo Xian sent a message to Wuxia. Wuxia nodded and rushed up to the fighting ring. The two of them started to fight. Huang Song's combat strength was indeed stronger than Wu's eyes. Huang Song's spirit body seemed to be stronger than the average upper-class sky spirit body. His attacks were like a storm and a fierce beast, madly attacking Wuxia. Wuxia could only defend passively. However, after a few moves, he was clawed by Huang Song, and a piece of flesh was torn off his body. Die, haha. Huang Song seemed to be even more excited when he encountered fresh blood. His eyes revealed traces of blood-red light, and his attacks became even more violent. Die! Wuxia roared. After using her most powerful attack, she rushed down the fighting ring. He knew that he wasn't Huang Song's match, and if he continued to fight, his life would be in danger. He could only rush down the fighting stage and admit defeat. However, Huang Song clearly did not want to let him off so easily. You want to leave? Die! Huang Song roared. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. The sky was filled with claw shadows as they headed toward Wuxia. Puchi! Blood and flesh splattered everywhere. One of Wu Zai's arms had been torn off by Huang Song. Wuxia endured the pain and rushed down the fighting ring. Humph! You're really trash. You don't even have the courage to fight to the death. One think you should just admit defeat as soon as possible. Huang Song sneered as he looked at the Luo clan's Heaven's Pride experts with ridicule. Many people's faces were ugly, but at the same time, they also revealed a look of fear. Even Wuxia had been defeated so miserably. On their side, other than the two king physiques, no one could fight with Huang Song. If he encountered Huang Song, even his life would be difficult. The morale of the remaining people was somewhat low. Huang Song's gaze swept coldly over Lu Ming. He sneered a few times and returned to the stands. The competition continued, and not long after, the second round of the competition ended. The difference in numbers between the two sides was even greater. The Yu family still had 19 people, while the Luo family only had 9. In the second round, the Yu family had 10 people who did not need to fight. It seems that the Yu family still has the upper hand in this battle. The Yu family has been in control of the Yuluo demonic kingdom for 20,000 years. They are getting stronger and stronger. Naturally, there will be more geniuses who will join them. That's right. Although both sides have two king physiques, outside of the king physique, the Luo family is far behind. Many people in the surroundings were discussing. Some of the Yu family experts were already smiling. The powerhouses of the Luo family looked gloomy. After this failure, the Luo family would have to wait another 10,000 years. Soon, the third round began. Among the remaining 9 people from the Luo family, they were all quite strong, so their chances of winning in the third round were high. Lu Ming did not know if he was lucky or unlucky. The opponent he met in this round was not strong and he was defeated easily. In this round, out of the 9 people from the Luo clan, 6 had won, and 3 had been eliminated. As for the Yu family, 6 people were eliminated, leaving 13 people. 13 against 6. Then, the fourth round began. Yu family's number 1 versus Luo family's number 1. The Yu Luo Devil Kingdom elder was stunned for a moment after drawing 2 numbers. Then, he reported the numbers. As soon as he finished speaking, the scene immediately went into an uproar. Many people were excited. Because the first ones on both sides were Yu Ning and Luo Xian. The eldest and youngest princesses of the Yu Luo Devil Kingdom were the 2 most outstanding women in the younger generation of the Yu Luo Devil Kingdom. Chapter 2031. Lu Ming vs. Huang Song. Sister Luo Xian, how are you going to fight me now? Yu Ning sneered as he stepped forward. Waves of powerful aura pressed down on Luo Xian. A month ago, her cultivation had still been at the peak of the Absolute Saint realm. However, recently, she had broken through to the perfected Absolute Saint realm. With this cultivation, she truly stood at the peak of the Yu Luo demonic kingdom. Ji Tian used to be known as the number 1 prodigy of the Yu Luo demonic kingdom, and his cultivation was only in the perfected Absolute Saint realm. Do you think you've won for sure? At this moment, Luo Xian's voice was heard. Boom! Then, Luo Xian's body also burst out with a powerful aura. Luo Xian's cultivation had been at the pinnacle of an Absolute Saint before, but now, he had reached the perfected Absolute Saint realm. Yu Ning's expression suddenly changed as he exclaimed, "Your cultivation has also broken through, of course. Do you think you're the only one who has broken through?" Luo Xian chuckled. So what if you've broken through? 111 still defeat you. Yu Ning said coldly as he charged towards Luo Xian. The 2 princesses started to fight again. Both of them had king bodies and could control the king path laws. Their cultivation had reached the absolute saint perfection, and their battle was extremely shocking. Ordinary emperors-to-be weren't their match. On the fighting ring, only 2 shadows could be seen clashing continuously. Some of the weaker cultivators couldn't even see clearly. It seems that no one can gain the upper hand. Lu Ming paid close attention to the battle on the fighting ring. He realized that Yu Ning and Luo Xian had the same cultivation and combat strength. Moreover, the 2 of them seemed to know each other very well. They were in a stalemate and it was difficult to determine the winner. Boom! Boom! Not long after, the 2 of them had already exchanged hundreds of moves. The 2 of them had been fighting for a long time, and they were both emitting white smoke. They had circulated their saint energy to the maximum and exchanged a few blows, but there was still no clear winner. Their breathing started to get heavier and slower. This was a sign of extreme exhaustion. However, the 2 of them were very persistent. Neither of them wanted to lose to the other, so they gritted their teeth and continued to fight. In the end, the 2 of them started to move slower and slower, as if they were in slow motion. Brother Luo, it's not good for them to continue fighting. Why don't we tie this battle? The Yu family head, who was also the current king of the Yu Luo Devil Kingdom, looked at the Luo family head. All right, this round is considered a draw. The head of the Luo family nodded. If they continued to fight, both sides would only suffer losses. If they overexerted themselves, it would not be good for the 2. The masters of the Luo and Yu families nodded. The doyen of the Yu Luo Devil Kingdom moved and appeared in front of Yu Ning and Luo Xian, blocking them. This round is considered a draw. You can go back and rest, the elder said. Yu Ning and Luo Xian glared at each other unwillingly and snorted coldly. Then, they returned to the stands and swallowed the pills. They watched the rest of the competition while refining the pills. In the next battle, it was another king physique from the Luo clan side who easily defeated his opponent. Yu family's number 3 versus Luo family's number 31. After the Luo family's king physique went into battle, the doyen reported the number. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It was his turn. Also, isn't number 3 of the Yu family Huang Song? Lu Ming stood up, a cold smile on his lips. The eyes of Luo Xian, Wu Shi, and the others also lit up. Others might not know, but they knew that Lu Ming had a king body. He had easily defeated Wu Shi back then, and his combat strength was definitely above Huang Song's. I will take revenge for you. Lu Ming patted Wu Zai's shoulder and stepped into the fighting ring. Ha ha ha, I finally met this kid. Huang Song was overjoyed. His expression was extremely sinister and excited. Since Princess Yuning wanted to kill Lu Ming, he naturally had to get rid of Lu Ming on her behalf. Huang Song, don't kill him so easily. It's best to let him beg for mercy miserably on the fighting stage before killing him. Ji Peng said to Huang Song as he glared at Lu Ming viciously. Haha, that's just what I want. Huang Song laughed and rushed up the fighting ring. He glared at Lu Ming with a ferocious look and said, Kid, kneel down and beg for mercy. One might let you die a quick death. He thought that he would see a look of fear on Lu Ming's face. However, he was disappointed. Lu Ming seemed to be smiling yet not smiling. He looked at Huang Song and said 2 words. How lamentable. What did you say, kid? Huang Song's face turned gloomy. I say, you're about to reach the end of your life, but you don't know it. How sad. Lu Ming added. Ha ha ha, kid, you're saying that you can kill me? I'd like to see where your confidence comes from. Dang. Huang Song hollered. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure charged towards Lu Ming. His claws were like knives as he grabbed at Lu Ming. On Huang Song's hands, he was also wearing a type of glove. This glove was like mercury, wrapping around his palm and could change at will. His fingertips were extremely sharp. Zzzzzzzzz. Black lightning flickered on Lu Ming's palm as he threw a palm strike at Huang Song. You're only at the peak of the absolute saint realm, yet you dare to fight Huang Song head-on. You're really looking for death. Huang Song's spiritual body is extremely powerful. Even an expert in the great circle of the absolute saint realm wouldn't dare to face Huang Song head-on. This brat doesn't know what's good for him. It looks like Huang Song wants to kill him. He's finished. The moment Lu Ming made his move, he attracted a wave of discussion. However, the next moment, all the sounds disappeared at once. This was because Lu Ming and Huang Song had already collided. Boom! A figure wailed and flew far away, falling to the ground. It was not Lu Ming as everyone had imagined, but Huang Song. Huang Song was sent flying 100 meters and fell to the ground. His entire body twitched non-stop, and his entire body was covered in lightning. On the other hand, Lu Ming did not move. How was that possible? Lu Ming's cultivation base was only at the peak of an absolute saint. How could he have sent Huang Song flying with one move? Lu Ming did not have the king physique. How is that possible? On the grandstand, Ji Peng roared, his face filled with disbelief. Although Lu Ming's combat strength was strong and he could defeat him, they did not think that Lu Ming could defeat Huang Song. Other than the king physique, Huang Song was almost invincible in a battle of the same level. Moreover, Huang Song's cultivation was even higher. Yu Ning's expression was extremely gloomy. Even Luo Xian, Wu Shi, and the others were shocked. Although they had guessed that Lu Ming would be able to defeat Huang Song, the prerequisite was that Lu Ming had to use the King Path Law. However, Lu Ming had not used the King Path Law at all and he had defeated Huang Song. This was beyond their expectations. Of course, they did not know that Lu Ming's spirit body was far superior to an ordinary high-class heaven spirit body. Moreover, he had cultivated 2 saint hearts and his saint energy was far superior to those of the same level. It was not inferior to those in the absolute saint perfection. He could easily defeat Huang Song even without using the King Path Law. Lu Ming took a step forward and neared Huang Song. He looked down at the other party and said, "Didn't you want to kill me? Come." Huang Song looked at Lu Ming. His expression was no longer malevolent. Instead, it was filled with fear. He roared and rushed out of the fighting ring. He wanted to rush down the fighting ring and admit defeat. Lu Ming would not let him do as he wished. Whoosh! Lu Ming was like a bolt of lightning. In a flash, he appeared in front of Huang Song. The lightning in his hand flashed and condensed into a long lightning spear, which he thrust at Huang Song. If the two king physiques of the two sides met before Lu Ming met Ji Tian, and both of them were injured like Yu Ning and Luo Xian, then they would have a chance of winning. If the king physique on both sides were injured, who else in a Yu family could be Lu Ming's match? Lu Ming alone could annihilate the other party. Obviously, the Yu family had thought of this as well, and their faces darkened. Because of Lu Ming, the situation that they were in control of had an unpredictable turn. Don't worry, they won't have a chance. Ji Tian spoke with great confidence. Could it be that you've already... Yu Ning seemed to have thought of something and his face lit up. Not bad. Ji Tian nodded. Yu Ning was overjoyed and heaved a sigh of relief. This way they were sure to win. If you see Lu Ming, kill him for me. Yu Ning sent a voice transmission to Ji Tian. If it was as Ji Tian had said, Lu Ming would meet Ji Tian sooner or later. Everyone had different thoughts in their minds, but the competition continued. When this round was over, there were only 3 people left on the Luo family's side. The Yu family only had 9 people left. A new round began. This round did not have a big battle that attracted too much attention. Lu Ming easily defeated his opponent, and so did the Luo family's royal body. However, on the Luo family's side, another person had also been defeated by the opponent's expert. In this way, there were only 2 people left in the Luo family. As for the Yu family, there were only 7 people left. Yu family's number 2, Luo family's number 2. When the founding elder announced the number, everyone was excited. Finally, it was time for the main event. The Yu family's number 2 was Ji Tian, and the Luo family's number 2 was the king body, Long Yan. The king physique of the two sides were about to battle again. In the past, Ji Tian was known as the number 1 person among the younger generation in Yu Luo demonic kingdom. His cultivation had long reached the perfected absolute saint realm. However, Long Yan wasn't weaker than him. His cultivation had long reached the perfected absolute saint realm. The last time the two of them fought was a few years ago. At that time, the two of them had fought for hundreds of moves, and in the end, Long Yan lost to Ji Tian by 1 move. However, a few years had passed and anything could happen. Ji Tian might not be able to defeat Long Yan now. They finally matched. The eyes of the Luo family's experts lit up, and their faces were filled with joy. Finally, before Lu Ming met Ji Tian, the 2 king physiques went against each other. This was what they wanted to see and their only hope of winning. As long as Ji Tian and Long Yan were both injured, Lu Ming would be able to sweep away the remaining people of the Yu family, and the Luo family would win this time. Long Yan, we don't seek victory in this battle. However, we can't let Ji Tian win either. The head of the Luo family sent a message to Long Yan. Long Yan nodded and stepped onto the fighting ring. Ji Tian also stepped onto the fighting ring. Long Yan, you were no match for me a few years ago. Today, you will not be my match either. Ji Tian spoke with great confidence and an invincible belief. Not necessarily. Long Yan said indifferently. Then he took a step forward, and his body was covered in terrifying flames. This kind of flame was an extremely terrifying flame law. It was called the destructive heavenly fire law, and it was also a king path law. The 6th prison. Ji Tian said softly. 6 worlds seemed to have appeared around him. One was a sea of blood, one was filled with boundless demonic qi, and one was filled with killing intent. So it's the law of the 6 hells. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. Chapter 2033 Victory and Defeat Decided? The laws of the 6 hells and the laws of reincarnation were actually somewhat similar. However, one was an ultimate law, while the other was a king path law. In terms of power, they were far inferior. The law of 6 hells was a bit like a simplified version of the law of reincarnation. The 6 worlds enveloped Ji Tian, making him look like a demonic god. Look at the burning laws of the 6 hells. Long Yan let out a long roar, and the flames soared into the sky like a flaming god of war. A flaming spear appeared in his hand and he charged at Ji Tian. He thrust his long spear forward, and a terrifying spear light pierced towards Ji Tian, trying to pierce through his laws of 6 hells. 6 hell divine fist. Ji Tian stepped forward and threw out his fists. It was as if he was driving the 6 worlds. The 6 worlds turned into fist radiance and blasted toward the dragon flame. Boom! The spear and the fist radiance collided with each other, producing a violent boom. The destructive heavenly fire law of the dragon flame could burn everything. It had the power of destruction and was extremely terrifying. It was no weaker than the law of the six hells. With a boom, two of them retreated at the same time. But then, the two of them charged at each other again and started to fight. Their combat strength was almost on par. A few years ago, the two of them had fought for hundreds of moves before the victor was decided. It was the same this time. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of moves, but it was still a draw. There's hope. The eyes of the powerhouses from the Luo family lit up. If this went on, he might end up like the eldest Princess Yu Ning and the little Princess Luo Xian, both of whom would suffer. In the past, they were afraid of such a situation because they were no match for the Yu family under the king physique. But now, they were looking forward to such a situation because of Lu Ming. The Yu family's powerhouses were the exact opposite. This was extremely disadvantageous to the Yu family, and their faces were all gloomy. Ji Tian and Long Yan fought fiercely, and dozens of moves passed in the blink of an eye. Boom! There was a violent explosion, and the two of them retreated. Ji Tian, I've said it before. You won't be able to defeat me in a few years. Long Yan opened his mouth. His voice was like a great bell, and the terrifying flames were about to rush into the clouds. His eyes were bright, as if he had vented his anger. Hee Long Yan, you're really naive. At this moment, Ji Tian smiled faintly and his voice was filled with sarcasm. What do you mean? Long Yan's eyes narrowed. For some reason, he had a bad feeling when he saw Ji Tian smile. Could it be that Ji Tian had not used his full strength? Then I'll let you see my true strength. Ji Tian sneered and took a step forward. Buzz! A ring of light emanated from Ji Tian's body and surrounded him like a god descending to the mortal world. Light of Law! You've cultivated the light of law. Long Yan's pupils contracted sharply as he roared in disbelief. Boom! Boom! At that moment, RHE powerhouses of the Luo family and the Yu family could not help but be shocked. They stood up from their seats and emitted a powerful aura. However, the feelings of the two families were completely different. Ha ha ha! Nomological light. It's the light of the King Path's nomological light. There's no suspense in this battle. The Yu family experts laughed in excitement. As for the Luo family, they were in disbelief. In the end, they sat back in their seats heavily, as if all their strength had disappeared in an instant. The light of law. Ji Tian had actually refined the light of law. There was no longer any suspense in this battle. Long Yan was definitely not Ji Tian's match. They both had king physiques, but there was a huge difference between the light of law and the light of law without it. If Long Yan was defeated, Lu Ming would naturally be defeated. How did this happen? Luo Xian also spoke helplessly. At first, she seemed to have seen the light of victory. As Lu Ming also had the king physique, it was very likely that they would win this battle. However, she had never expected Ji Tian to have cultivated the light of law. It was extremely difficult to cultivate the light of laws with a king physique, but once it was cultivated, it would far surpass other king physiques. Ji Tian has indeed refined the light of law. At this moment, Yu Ning's face was full of smiles. She was secretly glad that she did not offend the Ji family because of Lu Ming. The Ji family not only had the Defender General of the state, but Ji Tian's talent was even more amazing. Although Lu Ming's ability was not bad, there was a huge difference between him and Ji Tian. At this moment, she was extremely relaxed. The trace of regret she had for kicking Lu Ming out had disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming could not influence the overall situation. The Yu family will definitely win. The surrounding spectators also sighed. It seemed that the Yu family would continue to rule the Yu Luo demonic kingdom. Boom! In the fighting ring, Ji Tian performed the light of law. His aura became stronger and pressed toward the dragon flame. Long Yan, do you still want to fight? Ji Tian asked indifferently, as if he was above everyone. Fight! Long Yan gritted his teeth and charged at Ji Tian with the flaming spear in his hand. You overestimate yourself. Then I'll let you see the power of the light of law. 111 Let you see the difference between not cultivating the light of law and cultivating the light of law. Ji Tian threw a punch, and the power of the light of law was added to the fist force. Boom! The punch collided with Long Yan's spear. Buzz! Long Yan's spear trembled and buzzed. The destructive heavenly fire law on it trembled. The next moment, Long Yan's destructive heavenly fire law was pierced through. The terrifying power made Long Yan retreat more than a dozen steps before he could regain his balance. Long Yan's body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes revealed a trace of shock. He was no match for him at all, and was injured by his opponent in one move. Boom! Boom! Ji Tian threw 2 consecutive punches. Although the dragon flame tried its best to resist, it was no match for him and was completely suppressed. After 2 punches, Long Yan spat out another mouthful of blood. I've lost. Long Yan shook his head with a lonely expression. He moved and rushed out of the fighting ring. He knew that it would be useless to continue fighting. He was no match for Ji Tian and would only be humiliating himself. I lost again. The head of the Luo family and the other experts sighed helplessly. They had been defeated again, and the Yu family would continue to rule Rhe Luo demonic kingdom for the next 10,000 years. They had been defeated 3 times in a row, and they were somewhat unwilling. If this continued, the Luo family would disappear, and it would be even more difficult to compare with the Yu family. The Yu family members were naturally ecstatic. Brother Luo, do you still want to continue? The Yu family master was all smiles as he looked at the Luo family master. Of course he was happy. With the Yu family's victory, he would continue to be the king of the Yu Luo Devil Kingdom and dominate the region. In his opinion, Rhe Luo family only had Lu Ming left, so there was no need to compare anymore. No matter how strong Lu Ming was, could he possibly fight Ji Tian? Country ruler, according to Rhe rules, this competition will continue until the end, until all the people on one side are defeated. Ji Tian cupped his fists and said to Rhe Yu family master. He had yet to kill Lu Ming and take revenge for Huang Song. How could he let the competition end early? Chapter 2034 Come, King Fiziquiha. I'm confused. That's true. The competition must continue. Continue. The Yu family head laughed. Lu Ming also smiled. Even if the other party wanted to end the competition early, he wouldn't agree to it. The competition continued, but no one paid much attention to it. They all thought that the outcome had been decided and that continuing the competition was just a formality. If Lu Ming is smart, he will rush down the fighting ring and admit defeat when he's up against the others later. Otherwise, he won't stand a chance when he meets Ji Tian later. Yes, if I were Lu Ming, I would definitely do the same. Many people seem to have already guessed the outcome. Later on, Lu Ming would definitely rush down the fighting ring and admit defeat. The Doyens continued to draw numbers. Lu Ming was up against a skinny young man from the Yu family. The 2 of them stepped onto the fighting ring. Brat, let me finish you off. The skinny young man was smug. He also thought that Lu Ming would take the initiative to rush down the fighting ring and admit defeat. Otherwise, Lu Ming would be finished if he encountered Ji Tian in the next round. Therefore, he daringly charged at Lu Ming and pounced on him. Then, he saw a fist rapidly expanding in front of his eyes, and then heavily hit his nose. Kacha! The skinny young man's nose was broken. With a scream, his body was sent flying hundreds of meters away and fell on the fighting ring. Many people were stunned. They initially thought that Lu Ming would take the initiative to rush down from the fighting ring and admit defeat. They did not expect that Lu Ming would attack them directly. Perhaps he's just concerned about his reputation and wants to win one round before admitting defeat. If we're unlucky and we encounter Ji Tian in the next round, he'll definitely regret it. Some people sneered. Buzz! Lu Ming moved and rushed to the side of the skinny young man. He kicked the skinny young man off the fighting ring. Lu Ming won this round. However, the people of the Luo family only shook their heads slightly. Whether they won or not would not change the final result. This way, the Luo family was left with only Lu Ming, while the Yu family had 6 people. The competition continued, but the next number to be drawn was from the Yu family. Whoever was drawn would have a battle with Lu Ming. Yu family. Number 47. The elder announced, and a young lady from the Yu family took the stage. Many people began to guess whether Lu Ming would admit defeat in this round. It was because the further they went, the higher the chances of him meeting Ji Tian. Many people felt that Lu Ming wanted to win one round and then admit defeat to save some face. However, Lu Ming made his move and blasted the young woman off the fighting ring in 2 moves. Still not admitting defeat, you really want face to the death. Hee hee, let's see how Ji Tian regrets it when we meet him later. Some people sneered. The competition continued. The next person was still not Ji Tian. Naturally, he was easily defeated by Lu Ming. Perhaps it was luck, but the next few people were not Ji Tian. Lu Ming defeated them all. There were only 2 people left in the Yu family's arena. They were Ji Tian and the other person was Ji Peng. Lu Ming is still not admitting defeat. Does he really want to fight Ji Tian? At this point, some people had changed their minds because Lu Ming had not admitted defeat. If this went on, they would definitely encounter Ji Tian. How is that possible? He won't even have the chance to escape from the fighting ring if he fights with Ji Tian. He'll definitely be killed. I don't know what he's thinking, he's really crazy. The crowd was abuzz with discussion, but Ji Peng's expression was unsightly. If Lu Ming did not admit defeat, she would not have to face him in the next round. He kept praying in his heart that Lu Ming would meet Ji Tian in the next round. Unfortunately, things did not go as he wished. Yu family. Number 9. Ji Peng. The founding elder drew a number and called out. Detestable. Ji Peng roared in his heart. Why is he here? Why was Lu Ming always unable to touch Ji Tian? Many people were also speechless. Lu Ming was too lucky. It was strange that he could not meet Ji Tian. Lu Ming stepped onto the fighting ring and looked at Ji Peng. He smiled faintly and said, "Come down." Ji Peng's face was gloomy as he stepped onto the fighting ring. He looked at Lu Ming and said, "Lu Ming, I advise you to admit defeat. Otherwise, you'll die a terrible death when you meet my brother in the next round." Right now, Ji Peng's heart was filled with complicated feelings. Naturally, he hoped that Lu Ming would encounter Ji Tian and then be killed by him. However, if Lu Ming continued to fight, he would be in a very miserable state. "You're actually thinking about me? I can't figure it out. I beat you up so badly back then." Lu Ming deliberately looked surprised. Ji Peng gritted his teeth and roared in his heart. "If I wasn't facing you in this battle, would I have thought of you?" But now, he could only go against his will and say, "What happened back then is in the past. I think you're still a talent. Quickly admit defeat." Admit defeat? Forget it. My plan is to give you a good beating, and then go and give your big brother a good beating. Lu Ming smiled and even stretched out his fist. "You're crazy." Ji Peng roared in anger. Then, he suddenly turned around and rushed down the fighting stage. However, Lu Ming's figure moved and caught up to him. With a palm strike, lightning flashed and enveloped Ji Peng like a large net. Ji Peng tried his best to resist, but when the lightning struck, all his attacks were destroyed. Ji Peng's entire body was covered in lightning, which slithered around like little black snakes. "Pah!" Lu Ming then slapped Ji Peng's face. Ji Peng let out a blood-curdling screech as blood mixed with his teeth spurted out. At the same time, more lightning bolts covered Ji Peng's body. His hair stood on end, and white smoke came out of his 7 orifices as if he had been electrocuted. He looked extremely miserable. In the stands, Yu Ning, Ji Tian, and Ji Tian's father, the Defender General of the state, all had extremely ugly expressions. In their opinion, Lu Ming's act of humiliating Ji Peng was equivalent to a slap to their faces. "I'll pay him back tenfold for what he did to Ji Peng," Ji Tian said through gritted teeth. Lu Ming clutched Ji Peng's neck and walked to the edge of the fighting ring step by step. Then, he threw Ji Peng off the grandstand. He extended a finger at random and pointed at Ji Tian. He curled his finger and said, "Come, King Physique." Baz! Ji Tian couldn't help but rush up to the fighting ring. Anyway, he was the only one left in the Yu family, so there was no need to draw a number. This Lu Ming really wants to fight Ji Tian. Where did he get the guts? It's indeed strange. Could it be that Lu Ming still has a trump card? This is a fair fight. No monarch weapons are allowed. He doesn't have a king physique. What trump card would he have? Many people were in a heated discussion. They could not figure out what Lu Ming was up to. With Ji Tian's combat strength, Lu Ming would definitely die if he went up against Ji Tian. Why did he not admit defeat earlier? Why did he hold on until now? Was it just to humiliate Ji Peng? But it wasn't worth risking his life. Many people were curious. They looked at the fighting ring, wanting to know what would happen to Lu Ming. Chapter 2035. He has the king physique. Ji Tian's eyes were extremely cold. 6 worlds emerged and a terrifying aura kept charging at Lu Ming like a gale. Now you don't have the chance to admit defeat, Ji Tian said coldly. Who said I'm going to admit defeat? It's really laughable. From the beginning to the end, I never said that I would admit defeat. Can you not make wild guesses? Lu Ming pursed his lips. That's good. 111 make you kneel in the fighting ring and beg for mercy, Ji Tian said coldly. He took a step forward and the 6 worlds moved with him. He did not seem to be fast, but he was actually extremely fast. In an instant, he was in front of Lu Ming. Boom! With a punch, one of the blood prison worlds was blasted out along with Ji Tian's fist radiance. It was as if a sea of blood had enveloped Lu Ming, and the smell of blood filled his nose. Lu Ming's fist crackled and black lightning cauldrons filled the air as he threw a punch. Boom! The 2 fists collided, and the sky was like a huge drum, shaking violently. Rings of lightning and blood burst out in all directions. A figure flickered and stepped on the fighting ring, retreating continuously. The person who retreated was Ji Tian. The scene suddenly quieted down. Countless people were dumbfounded and looked at the fighting ring in disbelief. Lu Ming had actually forced Ji Tian to retreat with 1 punch in a head-on confrontation. How was this possible? What was going on? Lu Ming's cultivation base was only at the peak of the absolute saint realm, which was weaker than Ji Tian's. Moreover, he did not have a king body. How could he defeat Ji Tian? This was simply unbelievable. Ji Tian, don't be careless. Use more strength. At that moment, the Yu family master's voice spread throughout the entire area. What he meant was that Ji Tian was too careless and did not use his full strength. That was why he was forced to retreat by Lu Ming. Many people nodded. That should be the case. Otherwise, how could Lu Ming have defeated Ji Tian? However, Ji Tian's eyes were extremely solemn, and his heart was in turmoil. The others thought that he had been careless. Only he knew how powerful Lu Ming's punch was. The saint energy was not any weaker than his. The power of Lu Ming's spirit body was even more terrifying. He did not use his full strength just now, but Lu Ming's strength had indeed shocked him. 6 Hell Fiend Fist. Ji Tian let out a long roar and the 6 worlds burst out with different auras, which turned into a terrifying fist force that rushed toward Lu Ming. Its power was indeed much stronger than before. Good. Lu Ming did not retreat at all. He stepped forward and threw another punch. Every punch was filled with lightning, wrapping around Lu Ming's fists. His fist radiance was like lightning. Bang! Bang! The 2 of them fought with speed and exchanged dozens of moves in the blink of an eye. Their chi shot out and rumbled continuously. However, Lu Ming did not show any weakness. Instead, he seemed to have the upper hand. This time, everyone was stunned. Everyone, including the Yu family and the Luo family, was shocked. Even the patriarchs of the 2 clans and some of the true Emperor realm experts were extremely shocked. He did not have a king body and his cultivation was 1 level weaker, but he was able to fight with Ji Tian. Even they had never heard of such combat strength. So strong. Luo Xian, Wu Shi, and the others were dumbfounded at first, but their eyes lit up soon after. They knew that Lu Ming had a king body and could control the king path law. Now that he did not use the king path law, he was able to fight Ji Tian. Once he used the king path law, he might really win. They had originally thought that there was no hope, but now they saw hope. Yu Ning's expression was extremely ugly. She was very unhappy because Lu Ming was her man in the beginning but he was later expelled by her. It's useless no matter how strong he is. What I want is the final victory. Ji Tian still has the light of law that he has yet to use, so he will definitely win. I'm not wrong to choose Ji Tian. Yu Ning warned himself in his heart. Boom! Lu Ming and Ji Tian exchanged another blow and both of them retreated. The difference was that Lu Ming took 5 steps back while Ji Tian took 7 steps back. Ji Tian's face was particularly gloomy. He had a king physique, yet he had to fight Lu Ming to this extent. He had lost a lot of face today. Today, He would wash away his shame with Lu Ming's blood. Lu Ming, your combat strength has indeed exceeded my expectations. However, you're still going to lose. Let's go! Ji Tian shouted. The light of laws emanated and surrounded him, making his aura stronger. Boom! With the support of the light of the law, Ji Tian's aura increased greatly. He threw a punch and the 6 worlds moved with the punch, pressing down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming swung his fist and collided with Ji Tian again. Bang! Lu Ming seemed to have been hit by a terrifying force and his figure drifted backward. What a pity! The Luo family's expert sighed. If Ji Tian had not cultivated the light of law, the Luo family would have had a great chance of winning this battle. However, Ji Tian had cultivated the light of law. Unless the Son of Heaven appeared or someone from the younger generation had entered the Emperor-to-be realm, no one was Ji Tian's match. However, how many children of God were there in the entire land of Myriad demons? Even the Yuluo demonic kingdom did not have any Emperor-to-be below the age of 50. The others also shook their heads slightly, thinking that Lu Ming would definitely lose. Kneel down. Ji Tian had gained the upper hand in one move. His momentum was like a rainbow as he continued to press down on Lu Ming. He wanted to defeat Lu Ming in one go. The light of law is indeed powerful. Lu Ming pursed his lips, his expression still very calm. At this time, he raised his hand and pointed with a finger. There was no black lightning. Instead, it was filled with countless runes. Roar! The endless runes formed a true dragon. The true dragon roared at the sky and pounced at Ji Tian. Boom! The true dragon's dragon claw tore apart Ji Tian's fist force, and dense runes filled the air. Ji Tian roared in shock, and the 6 worlds kept shaking. All kinds of auras burst out and blocked the endless runes. The law of the king path. You have the king physique. Ji Tian's angry roar resounded through the entire scene. Silence. The scene fell into a deathly silence. Everyone was dumbfounded and in disbelief. The king physique. Lu Ming actually had the king physique? Then why did he use the demonic lightning law just now? A person who could control 2 types of laws? How was that possible? He wasn't a martial supreme. Many people realized that their brains had short-circuited. However, when they saw the dense runes surrounding Lu Ming's body, they could clearly recognize that Lu Ming really controlled the king path law and had a king body. The array Dao law of King Dao law. Haha. The master of the Luo family suddenly burst into laughter. Everything that had happened today was beyond his expectations. Lu Ming actually had a king body. He was already so powerful without using the king path law earlier. Now that he used the king path law, how powerful would he be? Luan you already knew that Lu Ming has the king physique, right? The patriarch of the Lu clan looked at Luo Xian. Yes. Luo Xian nodded. Although one knew that he had a king body, one didn't know that his combat strength was so strong. Indeed, how could an ordinary king body have such strong battle power? Chapter 2036. Do you regret it? Gotcha. Yu Ning crushed the white jade golden cup in his hand, his eyes extremely cold. She had never expected Lu Ming to have a king body. If she had known that Lu Ming had the king physique and such powerful combat strength, she would have considered it carefully back then. Ji Tian will definitely win. Yu Ning roared in her heart as she tried to persuade herself. However, her clenched fists showed how nervous she was. At this moment, Ji Peng had already woken up, but he was also shocked. King physique, there's nothing amazing about it. Lu Ming said calmly. Lu Ming, don't think that you can defeat me just because you have mastered the king path law. Without the law of light, everything is illusory. Kill. Ji Tian roared and charged at Lu Ming with all his might. The laws of the 6 hells, the light of the laws, and the arts of divine powers were activated to the extreme by Ji Tian. Let's end this. Lu Ming muttered and pointed again. Runes filled the air, and another true dragon condensed and pounced toward Ji Tian. This true dragon contained 3 of the 9 scrolls of the Tao of Formations. Lu Ming had only used the illusionary spirit scroll and the sealed scroll for the previous finger attack. Lu Ming had used the annihilation scroll, the illusionary spirit scroll, and the sealed scroll. The 3 scrolls were combined into one, and the power of this move was almost on par with the chaos finger tribulation. Boom! When the true dragon collided with Ji Tian, A terrifying force tore apart Ji Tian's fist radiance. Countless runes surged toward Ji Tian madly. Ji Tian's body trembled violently, and his body was thrown back. He was in the air and spat out a large mouthful of blood. He tried his best to resist the seal of the runes, but Lu Ming was already approaching him at high speed. Then, he pointed his finger again. This time, it wasn't a true dragon that had formed, but a giant elephant. The giant elephant's body was like a small mountain, and its legs were like heavenly pillars. It stomped toward Ji Tian. Bang! An elephant's leg stepped on Ji Tian's face. Ji Tian was instantly stunned. His body was like a huge rock, smashing heavily on the fighting ring, causing the ring to rumble continuously. Ji Tian lay on the fighting ring, twitching all over, and blood kept coming out of his mouth. Ji Tian lost and was beaten up like a dead dog. At the scene, everyone's eyes were wide open, and they couldn't react for a moment. Ji Tian used to be known as the #1 expert in the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. Now that he had refined the light of law, his strength had become even more powerful. However, he had lost to Lu Ming despite his strength. Lu Ming's cultivation level was even lower. It was truly unbelievable that he could defeat Ji Tian even though his cultivation level was even lower and he had yet to refine the light of laws. Lu Ming stepped forward and came to Ji Tian's side. Although Ji Tian was severely injured, he still glared at Lu Ming as if he could not wait to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. "What are you looking at? I've said it before, there's nothing amazing about the king's body, and the light of law is also nothing amazing." Lu Ming sneered with a hint of disdain. He then kicked Ji Tian in the face, sending him flying off the fighting ring. Lu Ming did not kill Ji Tian. After all, they were in the Yuluo demonic kingdom. Ji Tian's father and many experts of the Yu family were present. If Lu Ming killed Ji Tian, the other party would not let him off. The celestial thearch's physical body was running low on energy. Furthermore, his goal was to head to the Eternal Devil Nation. There was no need for him to cause any more trouble. Good. Ha ha ha. The master of the Luo family and many masters of the Luo family stood up and laughed. The Luo family had won. In the next 10,000 years, the Luo family would be in charge of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. After all, the eldest princess had needed Ji Tian's help to win the competition at that time. At that time, in the eldest princess' eyes, Ji Tian's value was probably far above Lu Ming's. But the truth? It was Yu Ning who had personally given the victory to the Luo family. On the other hand, Ji Tian, whom she valued highly, was beaten up like a dead dog by Lu Ming. How ironic was this? The Yu family's experts, Ji Tian's father, and Ji Tian's uncle all had extremely ugly expressions. Sister Yu Ning, one wonder what you're thinking now? Do you feel any regret? Luo Xian's voice sounded again. Enough! Yu Ning shouted and stood up abruptly. She cast a cold glance at Lu Ming and soared into the sky. This caused Luo Xian to giggle. She and Yu Ning had been fighting each other since they were young. Seeing Yu Ning's expression at this moment, she was extremely happy. Chapter 2037. Arriving at the ancient devil nation, the Luo family is the winner of this competition. For the next 10,000 years, the Luo family will be in charge of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. Then, the elder from the Yuluo Devil Kingdom announced. The Yu family's face was extremely dark and he was extremely unwilling. However, this was a tradition of the Yuluo demonic kingdom that had been passed down for countless years. Even if he didn't dare to do so, he would have to hand over the throne. Unless the Yu family's strength could crush the other forces in the Yuluo demonic kingdom, he could not break the tradition. However, it was obvious that the Yu family could not do it. In the end, he could only hand over the scepter that represented the king. Lu Ming had nothing to do next. He sat in the stands and watched indifferently. The next step was for the head of the Luo clan to take over the scepter. After a series of ceremonies, he began to take control of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. After the ceremony ended, it was time for the grand banquet. By the time everything was over, it would be the next day. A few days later, Luo Xian brought a pile of treasures and said that they were Lu Ming's rewards. Lu Ming accepted them without any hesitation. The following days were peaceful again. Lu Ming stayed in the little princess residence and cultivated quietly. However, Luo Xian would often look for Lu Ming in the name of sparring. Of course, Luo Xian would return in defeat every time. Time flew by, and a month and a half passed. On this day, Luo Xian found Lu Ming. They were going to head to the Eternal Devil Nation. In half a month's time, the king of the ancient Devil Nation would be holding a huge banquet to celebrate his survival of the calamity of heaven and earth, granting him another 300,000 years to live. At that time, all the devil nations that were affiliated with the Eternal Devil Nation would have to send people over to offer their congratulations. The Yuluo Devil Kingdom was a part of the Eternal Devil Kingdom. We're finally going to the Eternal Devil Nation, Lu Ming muttered. In this way, he was one step closer to the ancient demonic coffin. Yu Ning and the rest have already left for the Eternal Devil Nation a few days ago, Rahu said. Lu Ming nodded and followed Luo Xian to a teleportation array. The head of the Luo family personally led the team. There were hundreds of people in the team, including some young geniuses, who stepped into the teleportation array. First, they arrived at the citadel outside the capital of the Eternal Devil Nation. Then, they flew towards the capital. The ancient Devil Nation was one of the 2 super devil nations in the land of 10,000 devils. It was a true giant and its capital was exceptionally majestic. It was not inferior to the celestial emperor city in the Yuan Mountain. The land of 10,000 devils had 2 super devil nations and 10 high-ranked devil nations. Naturally, they were divided into 2 camps, 2 super devil nations. They were enemies with each other, and each super devil nation ruled a large number of low-rank and middle-rank devil nations. There were also 5 high-ranked devil nations under their control. As one of the 5 high-ranked devil nations under the Eternal Devil Nation, the Yu Luo Devil Kingdom was naturally highly valued. The moment they arrived, there were people who received them and arranged their accommodations. In the blink of an eye, they had been in the capital of the Eternal Devil Nation for 3 days. Lu Ming, the young prince of the Ashen Demon King's residence, is hosting a banquet today to invite the paragons of various countries. Shall we go and take a look? Luo Xian found Lu Ming and said, "The young prince of the Azure Demon King's residence?" Lu Ming was slightly stunned. The Eternal Devil Nation is one of the 2 great devil nations in the land of 10,000 devils. It rules over countless small nations, and many of them are inextricably linked to the powerful families of the Eternal Devil Nation. The Ashen Demon King's residence is the most powerful in the entire Eternal Devil Nation. Our Luo family has a pretty good relationship with them. The young lord of the Ashen Demon clan is only inviting the geniuses of the other nations to his banquet to get closer to them, Luo Xian explained. Lu Ming nodded. As long as there were benefits in any place, there would naturally be a relationship of benefits. Furthermore, every time the king of the ancient devil nation overcame a calamity, he would hold a banquet to allow the younger generation of each nation to compete with each other. Those who perform well would be heavily rewarded. Therefore, it's only natural for the heavens favorites of each nation to meet up and understand each other's strength. Luo Xian continued. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The king of the Eternal Demon Nation would have the geniuses of the other nations compete with each other. This was a good opportunity for Lu Ming. If he performed well and caught the king's attention, he might be one step closer to borrowing the eternal demonic coffin. All right, let's go and take a look. Lu Ming nodded. Immediately, Lu Ming and Luo Xian met up with the other supreme talents of the Yuluo demonic kingdom, such as Wuxia and the others, and headed for the Grey Demon King's residence. Of course, Yu Ning, Ji Tian, and the others were not with them. Yu Ning, Ji Tian, and the others had arrived at the capital of the Eternal Devil Nation before them. They had different networks of connections. Soon, they arrived at a vast mansion. Someone received them and led them to a wide courtyard. There were many tables and chairs in the courtyard. At this moment, many people had already arrived. They were all people of the younger generation. Greetings, Princess Luo Xian. When Luo Xian arrived, many young men bowed to him. The Yuluo Devil Kingdom was a high-ranked devil kingdom and was one of the best among the 5 high-ranked devil kingdoms under the Eternal Devil Kingdom. These young men were all from medium-rank and low-rank devil kingdoms. Their status was far inferior to Luo Xian's, so they naturally had to pay their respects when they saw him. Luo Xian nodded with a smile before taking a seat at the table above. Lu Ming, sit here. Princess Luo Xian smiled as she pointed to a stool beside her. Lu Ming did not stand on ceremony and sat down beside Luo Xian. Wu Shi and the rest sat behind Luo Xian and Lu Ming. Many young men sized Lu Ming up with curious eyes. Who was this person? He was actually sitting next to Princess Luo Xian. Ha ha ha, Luo Xian, long time no see. With a hearty laugh, a purple-robed young man strode over. This person was quite handsome and had an extraordinary bearing. Behind him, there were a few youths. Greetings, young prince. Chapter 2038. Want to kill Lu Ming. His name is Lu Ming. Luo Xian introduced Lu Ming. Princess Luo Xian, what is your relationship with this man? The young prince asked. He's my guest. Young prince, do you know Lu Ming? Luo Xian also felt that something was amiss and asked. So he's just a guest. Princess Luo Xian, can you hand him over to me? The young prince's eyes flickered, and the killing intent in them grew even stronger. Young prince, he is my guest, so I have to be responsible for him. Why do you want me to hand him over to you? Luo Xian's brows furrowed even more as he asked. The other young men seemed to have sensed that something was amiss as well, and they held their breaths, not even daring to take a deep breath. Kill! The young prince spoke coldly, his killing intent bursting forth without restraint. This person must die. Young prince, is there a misunderstanding here? Luo Yi said. He secretly sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming and asked, Lu Ming, when did you offend Song Yan? Song Yan was the name of the young prince. It's my first time seeing him. Lu Ming frowned and sent a voice transmission to Princess Luo Xian. He was also baffled. He had never seen Song Yan before, so he really didn't understand why Song Yan wanted to kill him as soon as he saw him. Misunderstanding? Any direct descendant of the Azure Demon King's palace will have a mark on their body. As long as they are killed, this mark will attach itself to the murderer. One can feel the mark of my Azure Demon King's palace on his body. Is this a misunderstanding? Song Yan coldly said. Everyone's heart moved as they understood. Lu Ming had killed a direct descendant of the Ashen Demon King's residence. The other party's mark was attached to his body and Song Yan could sense it. It was no wonder that Song Yan wanted to kill Lu Ming the moment he saw him. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. He suddenly recalled that not long after he came to the land of infinite demons, he was cultivating somewhere when a group of people went to snatch the demon origin fruit and he killed them in the end. One of them was a young man who had shouted out that he was from the Eternal Devil Nation. Could that man be a direct descendant of the Azure Demon King's residence? This was too much of a coincidence. Moreover, he had seen the mark of the Azure Demon King's residence before. The Thousand Kill Manor was a terrifying assassin organization. As long as one killed a member of the Thousand Kill Manor, there would be a killing mark attached to one's body. Back then, Lu Ming had to ask the palace master of Phoenix Palace to remove it. The mark of the Azure Demon King's residence was very similar to the mark of the Thousand Kills residence. Luo Xian frowned and said, Young prince, is there a mistake? Definitely not. A few months ago, one of my younger cousins was killed while training outside. It should be this person who killed him. Luo Xian, this person is only a guest elder. You should stay out of this matter. Song Yan said, then waved his hand. Buzz! Behind Song Yan, a young man rushed out, and a sword light bloomed as he charged towards Lu Ming. The sword light was cold. This was a sword to cut the throat. Judge! Luo Xian said softly as he struck out with the power of judgment, crushing his opponent's sword light. Princess Luo Xian, you want to protect this man? Do you think it's worth it to fall out with my Azure Demon King's residence for a guest elder? Song Yan's face sank, revealing a threatening tone. A few months ago I did kill someone. However, that person wanted to fight for a treasure and attacked me without any explanation. How could one not retaliate? At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. I see. Young prince, it's normal for anyone to be killed in the land of myriad demons when they're out training and fighting for treasures. In the land of infinite demons, strength speaks for itself. If one's strength is inferior to others, taking revenge now would be a joke. Luo Xian said coldly, not backing down an inch. In the land of 10,000 demons, there was constant killing. Martial arts were respected, and the weak were prey to the strong. No matter who it was better to be prepared to be killed when training outside. This was the rule of the land of myriad demons. Humph! My cousin has several Emperor-to-be followers. How many Emperor-to-be can he deal with? He probably used some despicable means to harm my cousin. How about this, let him fight with me. If he can withstand 10 moves from me and not lose, I will acknowledge his strength. Song Yan coldly said. In his opinion, Lu Ming was merely a guest master of Luo Xian. How strong could he be? Behind Song Yan, some of the young men sneered. Song Yan was one of the top geniuses in the Eternal Demon Nation. His battle prowess was absolutely terrifying. Not only did he have a king body, but his cultivation had also reached the absolute saint perfection long ago. How could Lu Ming withstand 10 moves from Song Yan? He would probably be killed by Song Yan in one exchange. This was Song Yan's goal. As long as he made a move against Lu Ming, he would be able to kill Lu Ming with a legitimate reason. Luo Xian's eyes flickered. Although Song Yan was powerful, Lu Ming could even defeat Ji Tian. He was definitely not weaker than Song Yan. Wouldn't it be easy for him to withstand 10 moves? All right, one agree. Lu Ming stepped out and said indifferently. He actually dared to agree. It seems that this kid doesn't know how powerful Song Yan is. Many people had the same thought. However, some people also had the mentality of watching a show. This kid is really looking for death. Some of the youths behind Song Yan revealed playful smiles. Song Yan's eyes flashed with a cold light. Princess Luo Xian, since he has already agreed, please do not interfere. I won't interfere. One hope that young prince will keep his word. After saying that, Luo Xian returned to the table. You mean what you say? This little girl. Could it be that she thinks that this kid can block 10 of my moves? Where is your confidence coming from? The corners of the young prince's lips curled into a cold smile. Then, he turned to Lu Ming, his killing intent even colder. Anyone who dared to kill the people of the Azure Demon King's residence would definitely die. He wanted to kill the chicken to warn the monkeys in front of all the people from the small countries today and make them fear him even more. Let's fight in the sky. Lu Ming said. I don't need to go to the sky to deal with you. One move is enough. Song Yan sneered before pointing out a finger. Buzz! This finger was like a long spear, piercing through the void and letting out a terrifying whistling sound. This finger was highly condensed. However, Lu Ming did not even look at it. He pointed his finger and runes shone on it. Bang! The two fingers collided with a loud boom. The terrifying force overturned many tables and chairs around them. Many people retreated in fear to avoid the scattered force. Song Yan's figure was pushed back 2 steps and was actually at a disadvantage. Array Dao laws, you have a king physique. Song Yan roared. So it's the law of penetration. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He was very familiar with this law. Luo Pokong of the Daluo Heaven sect also controlled this law, but he had already been killed by Lu Ming. Like one said, we're going to fight in the sky. Lu Ming spoke indifferently, causing Song Yan's face to turn extremely dark and his killing intent to turn incomparably cold. Just now, he was full of confidence and said that he could kill Lu Ming in one move without having to fly high up in the air. However, the truth was a slap to his face. Let's go up and fight. Song Yan said coldly. Like a divine spear, he shot into the sky. Lu Ming also stepped into the air. Chapter 2039. You've lost, kill. As soon as he soared into the sky, Song Yan launched an attack at Lu Ming. His fingers were like a spear, constantly pointing out. With the support of the law of penetration, the power was terrifyingly strong and could penetrate everything. The spear's gleam was aimed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled and did the same. Countless runes filled the air and condensed into lightning birds. They pounced at the spear lights at an astonishing speed and blocked them. So strong, so this person also has a king physique. No wonder she can sit side by side with Princess Luo Xian. Some of the heaven's favorites from the smaller countries exclaimed. 2 moves. Lu Ming said indifferently in the sky. Kill. Song Yan used his third attack, and his cultivation in the absolute saint great circle was unleashed. An even more terrifying finger force was aimed at Lu Ming. Song Yan's attack method was very similar to Luo Pokong's, but the magical technique they used was different. However, Song Yan's battle strength was much stronger than Luo Pokong's. A terrifying force whizzed towards Lu Ming, but it was still blocked by Lu Ming's finger. 3 moves. Lu Ming continued to speak calmly and nonchalantly. Die! Song Yan's eyes became colder and colder. A ring of light emerged from his body and surrounded him. The light of law. Many people took in a deep breath. Song Yan's battle prowess was indeed terrifying. As the top genius of the Eternal Devil Nation, he was able to suppress the other king physiques. It was said that in the entire Eternal Demon Nation, apart from the Son of God, no one was a match for Song Yan. Kill! A spear appeared in Song Yan's hand, and when combined with the light of law, its power reached a shocking level. 3 scrolls in 1. Lu Ming pointed a finger, and a true dragon roared and pounced at Song Yan. This true dragon contained the Annihilation Scroll, Illusionary Spirit Scroll, and Sealing Scroll. The 3 scrolls were combined into one. Boom! With a loud boom, the spear in Song Yan's hand trembled as his body trembled violently. He was forced to retreat by a terrifying force. Song Yan was actually at a disadvantage. Below, other than the people from the Yuluo Devil Kingdom, everyone else was dumbfounded. Some of them even rubbed their eyes, thinking that they were seeing things. Song Yan suppressed the other king physiques and stood at the peak. As long as the Son of Heaven didn't appear, he was almost invincible. But now, he was at a disadvantage because of Lu Ming. Who was this Lu Ming? How could a random person be so terrifying? They were speechless. Just this bit of strength? You wanted to defeat me in 10 moves? What a joke. Now it's my turn. Let's go, Lu Ming said indifferently as he stepped forward. Countless runes soared into the sky and turned into 9 dragons. This time, it wasn't a real dragon, but 9 dragons. The 9 dragons flew towards Song Yan. To be honest, Song Yan was very strong, even stronger than Ji Tian. Song Yan was almost at the peak of the Absolute Saint realm, and his nomological laws had reached 99%. He was only 1 step away from the Emperor to be realm. However, compared to Lu Ming, even if Lu Ming did not use the law of chaos, he was still lacking. As the 9 dragons pounced out, Song Yan's expression changed drastically, and he stabbed out with his spear with all his strength. The 9 dragons roared and continuously struck out with their claws, destroying Song Yan's attack. The terrifying destructive power and countless symbols surged towards Song Yan. Song Yan's figure madly retreated, continuously retreating 10,000 meters before regaining his balance. His body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. You've lost, Lu Ming said indifferently. His voice was not loud, but it was like a heavy blow that hit Song Yan, causing him to spit out another mouthful of blood. Lu Ming's short 3 words were filled with sarcasm. Just a moment ago, Song Yan was still insufferably arrogant and said that he would defeat Lu Ming in 10 moves. In fact, he had only casually mentioned 10 moves. In his opinion, 1 move would be enough to defeat or even kill Lu Ming. But now, in less than 10 moves, he was the one who lost to Lu Ming. Kill! Song Yan roared. Boom! Boom! From the depths of the palace, 2 figures rushed out. Their terrifying auras bloomed, causing everyone's faces to change. They were 2 martial sovereigns. Song Yan was going to send out a martial supreme to kill Lu Ming. Song Yan, you're going back on your word. Luo Xian soared into the sky and arrived in front of Lu Ming, glaring at Song Yan. Move! He shouted. Song Yan's expression was a little sinister. Today, in front of so many people from small countries, Lu Ming had made him lose face. He wanted to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. As for all of this, he had asked for it, but he would not consider it. It was all Lu Ming's fault. How could it be his? Song Yan, you can't win, so you sent out a martial sovereign. If this matter gets out, I'm afraid it'll be a disgrace to your reputation. Even the reputation of the Azure Demon King Palace will be affected. Luo Xian stood firmly in front of Lu Ming and continued, Moreover, even if you must make a move today, you'll have to do it over my dead body. Lu Ming is my guest elder. I can't just watch him be killed. Song Yan's expression became even uglier. Luo Xian's words had indeed caused him to be apprehensive. One was his reputation, and the other was Luo Xian's identity. Luo Xian was the princess of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom. The Yuluo Devil Kingdom was not an ordinary small kingdom. It was one of the top 5 upper-class devil kingdoms under the Eternal Devil Kingdom. As such, he was very apprehensive. Song Yan hesitated.
Lu Ming, let's go.
Luo Xian sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming, then turned around and left the Azure Demon King's residence. Wu Shi and the others followed him quickly. Song Yan's expression changed a few times, but in the end, he didn't give the order to attack. Lu Ming and the rest left the Ashen Demon King's residence and returned to their residence. I didn't expect that person to be from the Vicissitude House. Lu Ming was also quite speechless. Initially, he had wanted to get to know the imperial family of the Eternal Devil Nation through Luo Xian's recommendation. Who would have thought that he would offend the young prince of the Azure Demon King's residence the moment he arrived? It seems like I can only wait for the banquet of the King of the Eternal Devil Nation. I'll have to find an opportunity when all the geniuses are sparring. Lu Ming thought in his heart. Lu Ming, there's no need to think too much. The Ashen Demon Palace isn't the only paragon of the imperial family in the Eternal Demon Nation. I'll introduce you to the others in a few days. Luo Xian comforted Lu Ming. Many thanks. Lu Ming looked at Luo Xian and smiled. Luo Xian's unwavering determination to stand in front of him had touched him. Luo Xian was a genuine person, and he was much stronger than Yu Ning. Over the next few days, Luo Xian introduced a few royal family members to Lu Ming. However, although they were quite talented, they were still lacking compared to Song Yan. There were a few times when Lu Ming tried to find out more about the eternal demonic coffin. However, the other party did not know much about it. He only knew that it was the treasure of the eternal demonic nation, and that only the king could control it. Lu Ming frowned. He was troubled. The ancient demon coffin was so important that only the king could control it. Could he really borrow it for a month? The king of the ancient devil nation was an emperor. Such a person was high and mighty, even higher than the average great emperor. Why would he care about him? Chapter 2040. The ancient emperor. More than 10 days later, the monarch's banquet officially began. In the center of the capital of the ancient devil nation, a majestic palace suddenly appeared in the sky. The palace shone brightly and could be seen from far away. The palace was 9 stories high, like a divine palace. There was a jade staircase in each of the 4 directions of the palace. It extended from the top of the palace to the bottom. The guests who went to congratulate him went up the jade stairs from the 4-sided palace to the 9th level of the palace. Lu Ming and the people from the Yuluo demonic kingdom went up the jade stairs on the east side. What a magnificent palace! Lu Ming was secretly shocked. This 9-story palace was too huge. It was 100,000 feet tall and pierced through the depths of the sky. Even this jade staircase was huge. A person standing on it was like an ant. In this direction, people kept coming up the jade stairs to congratulate him. The ancient devil nation was one of the 2 super devil nations in the land of 10,000 devils. Almost half of the devil nations, big and small, would come to congratulate them. Naturally, the number of people would be shocking. Lu Ming and the group walked up the jade stairs and spent half an hour before they reached the highest point and arrived at the 9th level of the hall. The 9th level of the palace was open air and extremely wide. There were all kinds of sacred medicines and strange flowers planted everywhere, and the fragrance assailed the nose. This area was already filled with tables and chairs. The Yuluo Devil Kingdom was one of the 5 great exalted kingdoms. As soon as they arrived, someone led them to a higher position. The location of this area was also very particular. The height was different, and the levels were higher. The lowest terrain was where the people of the lower-class devil nations sat. The second-ranked devil nations were the middle-ranked devil nations. Above them were the 5 high-ranked devil nations. At the very top were the experts of the ancient devil nation and the nobles.
Brother Luo. Brother Luo.
When Lu Ming and the rest arrived, there were already some people there. They greeted the Luo family master one after another. These people were the kings of other high-ranked devil nations, and they all had prominent identities. Now that the Luo family was in control of the Yuluo Devil Kingdom, they naturally greeted the head of the Luo family. At the side, the Yu family's master snorted coldly. De led Yu Ning, Ji Tian, and the others to find a random seat. Following that, more and more people arrived, and the vast space was almost full. The country ruler has arrived. A voice resounded through the entire place, and everyone quieted down. The king of this place was naturally the king of the eternal devil nation. A group of people came from the sky and landed on the highest point. The person in the lead was a burly old man in a purple and gold robe. He had a smile on his face, and although he did not reveal any aura, he had a supreme majesty.
We pay our respects to the ancient emperor.
Everyone bowed in respect. The king of every generation of the ancient devil nation was addressed as the ancient emperor.
Everyone please sit.
The ancient emperor waved his hand and everyone took their seats. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the crowd and noticed that there were many people around the ancient emperor. Some were older, while others were from the younger generation. Many of them had powerful auras and were extremely terrifying. There was no doubt that there was a great emperor among them. There was definitely more than one great emperor in the ancient devil nation.
Song Yan.
Lu Ming saw Song Yan in the crowd behind the ancient emperor. At this moment, Song Yan's eyes were also on the Yuluo demonic kingdom. When he saw Lu Ming, a cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. Yan the person you're talking about is that kid? Beside the ancient emperor, there was a skinny old man with white hair who was transmitting a message to Song Yan. This person was Song Yan's grandfather, the Song Demon King.
Grandpa, it's this person.
Song Yan nodded.
Yes, I understand.
The hidden Demon King nodded and didn't continue speaking. His face was calm, and no one could tell what he was thinking. The Tianyu Devil Kingdom congratulates the ancient emperor on surviving the Great Tribulation and obtaining eternal life. At this moment, the monarch of the Heaven Devil Kingdom stood up to congratulate the ancient emperor and presented him with gifts. The Yuluo Demonic Kingdom congratulates the ancient emperor for overcoming his tribulation. You can look forward to becoming the Heavenly Emperor. The master of the Luo family also sent a congratulatory gift. Following that, the rulers of the devil nations came forward to offer their congratulations and congratulatory gifts. Starting from the 5 high-ranked devil nations, it was the turn of the low-ranked devil nations. Thank you for coming today, please sit. The ancient emperor's voice rang out. Following that, the maidservants brought out all sorts of fine wine and delicacies. After that, a peerlessly enchanting witch came forward to perform the demonic dance, and the atmosphere of the scene became warm. Great Emperor, there are so many geniuses in this world. Why don't we let the younger generation have a friendly match? Xiaofan suggested. Someone suggested. This was something that would happen every time the ancient emperor transcended a tribulation of the heavens and earth. Some people were looking forward to it. Haha, one also want to see how outstanding the geniuses of this generation are. One heard that there's more than one son of God in this generation, and there are even more king bodies. The ancient emperor laughed. That's right. This generation is indeed full of geniuses, more than any previous era. The Azure Demon King said. Oh, if that's the case, I'll change the rewards this time as well. The top 3 can make a request to me, and I'll try my best to fulfill it if it's something that only one can do. The top 10 can also receive a reward. The ancient emperor's voice reverberated in all directions. Many people's eyes were burning with desire. The top 3 could make a request to the great emperor. This was too tempting. Furthermore, the rewards that the top 10 would receive would definitely not be small. The reward this time was also better than before. Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. The top 3 could make a request of the ancient emperor. If he were to get into the top 3, he would be able to borrow the eternal demonic coffin from the ancient emperor. Since the emperor had said it himself, he probably wouldn't reject it. Moreover, it was only for a month. I must enter the top 3. Lu Ming's fists were clenched tightly. Even though he did not know how strong the Son of Heaven from the Eternal Devil Nation was, Lu Ming believed that if he were to go all out, he should be able to get into the top 3. Alright, then well, let the Azure Demon King take charge of this round of sparring. The ancient emperor laughed. He didn't need to manage such a matter personally. He could leave it to others. Thank you, Your Majesty. The Azure Demon King stood up and took a step forward, arriving in the air outside the palace. With a wave of his hand, a platform floated up. Then, the platform expanded rapidly, turning into a fighting ring with a length and width of 100 miles. The height of the fighting ring was slightly lower than the palace. Sitting on it, one could see the situation on the fighting ring very well. Young people who wish to participate in the sparring can register first and leave behind your name. the Azure Demon King said before calling for a few people to register the information.
Buzz.
And NBSP whoosh. Immediately, young people flew forward one by one to register. There were too many people. In an instant, hundreds of people went up. Who do you guys think will enter the top 3 this time? That goes without saying. The 2 sons of God will definitely enter the top 3. That's right. 2 of the top 3 are the sons of God, so there will definitely be a spot for them. The key is who will be able to obtain the other spot. Song Yan and Lu Su are both very likely. Many people in the surroundings began to discuss. Chapter 2041 cannot participate. The registration process was very quick. All they had to do was register their names, so the turn was also very quick. Soon after, Lu Ming, Luo Xian, and the others also went to register.
Stop.
Suddenly, a cold voice was heard. A figure stood in front of Lu Ming.
Gang Yan.
Lu Ming frowned. What was Song Yan trying to do? Lu Ming, you're not qualified to take part in the competition. You may leave. Song Yan looked down at Lu Ming from above, his eyes cold and filled with killing intent. Many people looked over with curiosity, including the experts of the older generation in their seats. Song Yan, what do you mean? If he's not qualified, then you're not qualified either. Don't forget that you were defeated by Lu Ming a few days ago. Luo Xian took a step forward, glaring at Song Yan as she shouted.
What?
Song Yan was defeated?
Really?
This is the young man?
Me looks so ordinary.
Many people were shocked. They looked at Lu Ming in bewilderment. In the Eternal Devil Nation and the many other devil nations under its rule, other than the Son of God, Song Yan was the most powerful heaven's favorite, and almost no one could defeat him. This person had actually defeated Song Yan? What was his background? After all, the heaven's favorites that Song Yan had invited were only a small portion of the people present. Many of them did not know about the battle between Lu Ming and Song Yan. The paragons who were present at that time were afraid of offending Song Yan, so they did not say anything after they returned. Therefore, not many people knew that Lu Ming had defeated Song Yan. When Luo Xian said that, everyone was naturally shocked. Many people even doubted whether what Luo Xian said was true. Even many of the older generation looked at Lu Ming with curiosity. To be able to defeat Song Yan was no small matter. Such a heaven's favorite would definitely have great achievements in the future and was naturally worth paying attention to. Song Yan's face turned extremely gloomy. Luo Xian didn't give him any face at all, directly revealing his defeat in public. During this period of time, I've sent people to investigate this person, but there are no clues at all. We can't find out this person's origin at all. This person's origin is unknown, so he doesn't have the qualifications to participate in the competition. Song Yan shouted. The purpose of this competition is to celebrate the great emperor's victory. As for what kind of background it has, what does it matter? Luo Xian argued. His background is unknown. Who knows what he is planning? Song Yan sneered. Great Emperor, how should we do this? The Ashen Demon King asked the ancient emperor for instructions. I've already handed this matter over to you. You have full authority to handle it. The ancient emperor waved his hands. He wasn't interested in the conflict between the younger generation. Standing at his height, he only had the attitude of watching a show. He would only pay attention to the Son of God.
Yes, great Emperor.
The Ashen Demon King saluted, and with a flash, he appeared above Lu Ming and the others.
What's going on?
The Azure Demon King spoke in an imposing manner. It's like this. Luo Xian spoke first and explained the situation. The great emperor has just passed a great tribulation. It's a grand event that only happens once every 300,000 years. There can't be any mistakes. You may leave. The Azure Demon King looked at Lu Ming and waved his hand. Lu Ming frowned and Luo Xian's expression turned ugly. The Azure Demon King was not allowing Lu Ming to participate in the competition. Song Yan sneered. Not far away, Yu Ning, Ji Tian, and the others also revealed gloating smiles. Your Highness, I did defeat Song Yan, but you can't protect him because of this. Lu Ming said. His voice was so loud that it spread in all directions. His meaning was obvious. Song Demon King was deliberately making things difficult for him because of Song Yan. Impudent! What's with your attitude? How dare you doubt this king? The Ashen Demon King bellowed, his body exuding a terrifying aura as he glared at Lu Ming. Your background is unknown. I'm already being kind by not taking you down on the spot. If you still dare to speak, don't blame this king for being impolite if you don't leave. The scene was silent. No one said anything. The head of the Luo family felt that the Azure Demon King had gone too far. The Azure Demon King had great authority in the Eternal Devil Nation, and there was no need for him to offend the Azure Demon King over this matter. It was just that he couldn't participate in the competition. In his opinion, it was a small matter. However, this was a big deal for Lu Ming as it concerned the ancient demonic coffin. However, it was obvious that the Azure Demon King would not give him the chance. The ancient emperor looked on indifferently. Even though he also felt that the Azure Demon King had gone overboard, he wouldn't say anything more since he had already let the Azure Demon King take charge. Still not retreating. The Azure Demon King shouted again. His terrifying aura pressed down on Lu Ming like a tidal wave, forcing him to retreat. He was under immense pressure. Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly and was extremely unwilling. But in the end, Lu Ming still retreated. The strength of the Azure Demon King was shockingly strong. Even if he wasn't a great emperor, he was at least a peak true emperor expert. He couldn't do it by force, so he had to think of another way. Song Yan's mouth curled into a sneer. He did not allow Lu Ming to participate for two reasons. One was to take revenge on Lu Ming. The second reason was that Lu Ming's abilities were too shocking. If Lu Ming were to participate, he would have no hope of getting into the top 3. The registration continued. It took half a day for the registration to end. After the registration ended, the competition began. The 2-on-1 matches were very intense. However, all of this had nothing to do with Lu Ming. He sat in his seat and drank while thinking about his next step. He was thinking about how he could borrow the eternal demonic coffin for a month. It was normal for martial arts powerhouses, or even those who had reached the Sage Realm, to sit there for a few months. Therefore, the competition went on one after another. In a flash, a few days had passed. After a few days of competition, most of the people had been eliminated, leaving only a few dozen people. These dozens of people were all extremely talented, and many of them even had king physiques. The land of infinite demons is indeed a place to fight. The overall standard of the geniuses is even stronger than the Yuan Mountain. Towards the end, Lu Ming also focused his attention and observed. He realized that the number of heaven's favorites in the land of infinite demons was about the same as in the distant mountains, but the quality was higher. For example, the average cultivation of the land of infinite demons was higher than the Yuan Mountain. Many of them had reached absolute saint cultivation. Some of them had even reached the peak or perfected absolute saint. For example, Luo Xian had a king body in the great circle of the absolute saint stage, but she didn't have any advantage over these geniuses. There were at least 20 to 30 people who weren't weaker than her. This wasn't even all of the geniuses in the land of infinite demons. It could only be half. There were so many powerful geniuses. It was as if they had reached the great circle of the absolute saint realm. It was shocking. However, in the past few years, after the cultivation and competition in the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, as well as the battle with the evil god tribe, many people's cultivation bases had risen. Many powerful king bodies had reached the peak of absolute saint or perfected absolute saint. Chapter 2042. The people from the immortal demon nation. The competition continued. 2 young men caught Lu Ming's attention. This was because these 2 people were exceptionally powerful. They were the sons of God. Child of the void, child of death. Lu Ming muttered. One of the 2 sons of God controlled the void law, which was also one of the 10 ultimate laws. It was extremely terrifying and could turn everything into nothingness. The other person actually mastered the law of death, just like the death blade. Today was indeed a golden age. In the past, it was already amazing for a son of God to appear. But now, they were appearing frequently, and different people had successfully cultivated the same law. This was only the Yuan Mountain and the land of myriad demons. One had to know that there were 10 lands in the primordial realm. One could imagine that there would be more than one child of God. It was easy to imagine that if the death blade met this person, a great battle would probably break out. Apart from these 2, Song Yan's strength was indeed very strong. He was undefeatable and was a popular candidate for the top 3. After a few days of intense battles, all the rankings were out. Luo Xian and Yu Ning were ranked at the 22nd place. They had not even made it into the top 20. As for Ji Tian, he had cultivated the light of law and was indeed powerful. He overcame all obstacles and charged into the top 10, ranking 6th. After all, there were very few people who could cultivate the light of laws in a king's body. As for Song Yan, after a series of battles, he had finally defeated his competitor and obtained 3rd place. The first and second were naturally the 2 sons of God. The 2 sons of God had reached the perfected absolute saint realm and were very close to the emperor-to-be realm. They had also cultivated the light of laws and were extremely powerful. They were high above everyone else and were invincible. The most exciting part was the battle between the 2 sons of God, which pushed the atmosphere to the peak. The void law and the death law collided. Both laws were extremely overbearing, and their cultivation levels were similar. It took 1,000 moves before the victor was decided. In the end, the son of death won by a hair's breadth due to his mastery of nomological laws and his close proximity to an emperor-to-be. Amazing, amazing! Is this the battle power of the Son of Heaven? It's really terrifying. Luo Xian blinked his large eyes in amazement. The Son of God is indeed powerful. Below the martial emperor realm, ordinary warriors are no match for the Son of God in a battle of the same level. It's useless no matter how strong their combat strength is. Yu Ning also sighed and glanced at Lu Ming. What he meant was that if he wasn't the Son of God, no matter how strong he was, he wouldn't be a match for the Son of God. Lu Ming smiled faintly, sighing in his heart. If he were to make a move, he would definitely be able to enter the top 3. Although the 2 sons of God were strong, he was not afraid. What a pity! Lu Ming sighed. He picked up a glass of wine and finished it in one gulp. Yu Ning thought that Lu Ming had realized the difference between him and the Son of God and thus had such an expression. He sneered immediately. The top 3 can make a request to me. You may step forward. The voice of the ancient emperor rang out. The 2 sons of God and Song Yan stepped forward. At this moment, Song Yan was extremely excited. He had to make a request to the great emperor and make use of it to its greatest value. Do you want an ancient scripture, or do you want to take the opportunity to become the great emperor's disciple? Song Yan's mind spun rapidly as he trembled with excitement. Ha ha ha, it's so lively today. 111 join in the fun. At this moment, a loud laugh reverberated through the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Then the sky rumbled, as if a giant creature was about to break through the void. Many experts' faces darkened as they looked into the distance. Sila! The next moment, the void cracked open, and a huge warship sailed out of the dark void. The battleship was 10,000 meters long and completely black, giving off a terrifying pressure. This is the undying battleship of the undying demon nation. Someone exclaimed. Many people were shocked. The undying demon nation was another super demon nation that was on par with the eternal demon nation. 2 tigers couldn't live on the same mountain. The 2 super devil nations were naturally hostile to each other and would often have conflicts and wars. The immortal battleships of the immortal demon nation broke the void and came here. A group of people stood on the deck of the warship. The leader was a middle-aged man in a long robe. He had an overbearing aura. If you're not dead, what are you doing here? The ancient emperor looked at the burly man and said coldly. Many people were shocked. In the immortal demon nation, there was only one person who dared to use this title, and that was the ruler of the immortal demon nation, the immortal emperor. Just like the ancient emperor, every king of the undying demon nation used the title of undying emperor. Haha, ancient one, it wasn't easy for you to overcome your tribulation. Naturally, I'm here to congratulate you. Why? Am I not welcome here? The undying emperor laughed. You're a guest, come down and sit. The ancient emperor said before ordering his men to prepare a seat. Let's go down. The undying emperor said. Many people followed him and jumped off the warship. There were experts from both the older and younger generations following him. Undying emperor looked around, especially at the young heaven's favorites. At this moment, the top 30 heaven's favorites were still standing in the fighting ring. The top 3 would be able to make a request to the ancient emperor. The top 10 would be handsomely rewarded, and the top 30 would be handsomely rewarded as well. That was why they had been waiting there. The Eternal Devil Nation is indeed full of geniuses. The geniuses are as common as the clouds. Even the good-for-nothing brats of my immortal Devil Nation are tempted by this. They'd like to have a spar with the geniuses of the Eternal Devil Nation. What do you think, Ancient One? The Undying Emperor laughed. It's here. Many people were moved. The people of the Immortal Demon Nation didn't come with good intentions. They didn't come just to congratulate the Ancient Emperor. All right, I have the same idea. I'll be good for them if the two geniuses spar. The Ancient Emperor said. He couldn't reject them. Otherwise, if word got out, everyone would think that the Eternal Demon Nation was afraid of the Immortal Demon Nation. Good, haha. The Undying Emperor laughed and looked at the young men behind him. Have some fun with the geniuses of the Eternal Devil Nation. Remember, don't embarrass your Emperor.
Yes, great Emperor.
Those Heaven's favorites cupped their fists.
I'll go first.
Following that, a young man from the Undying Demon Kingdom leaped onto the battle stage. With a cold and arrogant look on his face, he scanned the geniuses from the Eternal Demon Kingdom and said, "My name is Yuan Tua, and one have a king physique. I have just broken through to the perfection of the Absolute Saint Realm. Who wants to fight me?" The geniuses of the Eternal Devil Nation fell silent. Many of them looked around, but no one dared to step forward. The Undying Demon Nation obviously didn't come with good intentions. The Heaven's Pride experts they sent out wouldn't be weak. They didn't know the other party's strength and didn't dare to make a move rashly. If they were no match, it would be a huge loss of face. They both wanted someone else to make the first move and test each other's strength. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.